Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. After yet another record-setting performance for the Dow yesterday, we're seeing North American stock futures little change so far this morning, coming off a little bit of a weak end to the session yesterday on the back of that vaccine news. We'll talk about some of the vaccine makers coming up here. We still have the tech-heavy NASDAQ and the S&P lower on the week, while the Dow is set to break a two-week losing streak at this point. One of the busiest days on the earnings front yet. We're going to get a whole bunch here heading towards the open. We've already got a few: Anheuser-Busch, InBev, Regeneron, Viacom, CBS moving around. We'll talk about Kellogg a little bit. Coming up after the bell tonight, Dropbox, Expedia, Roku, Beyond Meat is going to report, Square as well. We'll talk about all those in the next hour or so. Etsy, Fastly, Uber, all to the downside this morning after reporting. We're going to have a look at Peloton as well, looking to extend that big drop we saw yesterday on the news of that recall for their treadmills. It's Thursday, May 6, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at how things stand at this point. As I mentioned, basically flat here, right across the board. 0.04 to the downside for the S&P. The Dow, unchanged. The NASDAQ, the same. TSX futures here in Toronto, about 0.25% in negative territory. Cryptos keep going, man. Bitcoin 1.6, Ethereum 1.2. Today you can see big move down for crude oil there as well. So interesting movement to start things off on a Thursday. Good morning, guys. Another busy one to get through this morning. Lots and lots of earnings. So many earnings reports, mostly to the downside, although we do have a few that are standing out a little bit stronger. PayPal, one of those, moving higher this morning. So lots to get to today.
Yeah, throw, I guess, Sunrun into that as well. There's a few, but there's some big-time movers. And one that I just noticed now, some guys in the chat there, kill me is what I got to say about this symbol. And if you catch that reference to ALF, popped up, like it's done 4.5 million, just popping in the pre-market, making some fresh highs. I wasn't watching this before. I'm looking at this smaller LKCO. I'm looking at that MITO and a few other ones, but this one looks pretty interesting. Should be on the radar. There's so much movement today, Sean. I was saying this morning, this is one of those where the pre-show is going to be very important to have a bit of a game plan, because there's a lot of actual movement in some of these earnings plays. And you throw in something like a Peloton, which is, again, depressed off of yesterday's news, so it's still heading to that downside. You want a plan of action because the overall market's flat on the session, so you are seeing the market being held up by some other sectors there, but not these tech earnings and these high valuation names. And of course, there are plenty of small caps that are on the move as well. So busy Thursday coming up, Sean.
Yeah, busy Thursday. And to me, honestly, guys, like, my focus right now is in the crypto space. Like, these stocks don't want to move anywhere, whatever. It's not super exciting to me. A lot of these names, you've seen like Fisker, Nikola, a lot of these names. We're loaded up here on today's, what is this thing called? Oh yeah, sticky note. But look at Cardano here, 170 it touched. Like, we are just literally like, shooting hoops out here, because like, this has been an unbelievable run for Cardano. We've been talking about this one for days to everyone here. What a great dip buy that was. What's up to Shakib? I know you were buying at $1, so was I. And now today we get $1.70 on this name. Again, 7-8 cents back in October when we were talking about it. And now you're loaded up to 170. Like, I'm just super pumped about what's happening in the crypto space right now. And I'm just sort of, a little disappointed with the NASDAQ, obviously, and with some of these earnings reports. But again, crypto, I'm worried about it because I think it's accelerated so much. And congratulations to everybody holding basically any coin right now. You're in the money huge. I think this is the future right now. And that's why, guys, like, back, I guess it was back in 2020, my call of the year was PayPal. And, that was, again, a fintech name. You're seeing that bump up. We're going to wait for PaySafe on May 11th. Great number from PayPal today. I think that should translate a little bit to PaySafe, so we'll see if that can move a bit. Rocket, obviously disappointing. We were expecting bigger than that, but it's just at the same levels. I think you can buy that. There's a lot happening, man. Uber down. Look, equities are fantastic, but crypto right now is where the game is at.
Yeah, going to be exciting right across the board today. News on Nikola as well. We'll talk about Nikola. I mean, you have to give them credit. They're still trying for NKLA moving higher here in the pre-market. Before we get into things, let's jump over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, everyone. It's going to be an exciting day, guys. So wish you luck, enjoy your trading and the show, and of course, don't forget to like this video. Let's get it started, Brennan.
Yep, like the video, guys. If you're joining us for the first time, also subscribe to this channel and come back and join us every single day. Nikola, yeah, just popping up here in the pre-market on this headline. There we go. They are signing a deal with this Total Transportation, which is a port trucking company, for 100 of their Nikola Class 8 battery electric vehicles. This also involves some vehicle testing, so they're going to use this agreement, it looks like, for some testing once they have this truck available. So Nikola, wow, 5% here in the pre-market, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what to say either, Neil, because like,
I'm speechless.
do you take this opportunity? This is the thing. Like, I'm a bag holder at Nikola. And my price, I have to even find the price. I don't even, you know, it's kind of irrelevant at this point. But it's like when you have these kind of moves, like we were just at $70 like back in July. I say just, July is a long time ago. But, you know, it's just been straight down. Every single pop, Neil, has been hit. On Nikola, including even this little one that just happened back in April 23rd. It popped back up to $12. Everyone was all super excited, and then now it's right back down to $10.50 again. So, look, I don't know what to do here. You know, every little level that you think is going to be the bottom is simply just a spot to short more. So, you know, Nikola, I guess if we get above 13, you know, maybe that's when you can start pulling the trigger on some of these longs if you do believe in the space. Right now, I think there's just a whole lot of settling down needs to happen. I said this 2 weeks ago, I think, that the EV space is like the new weed space, meaning that if you weren't in early and took advantage of all that early movement, then you've missed the boat, and I'm not sure it's ever going to come back. So let's wait to see what happens here with Nikola. I think some of these companies either need to be bought out or a change in technology, some revolutionary ideas here. But I don't know if Nikola has the legs to do anything. It's great. It's a great news story. Let's see if the buyers come back or if the short, or if, I guess, if the bears just continue to pump this thing down. I don't know. What do you think?
Showing more of my age, you could even compare EVs to the dot-coms, at least in terms of how crowded the space is, and then well, who's actually going to come out on top in the long run? And if you look at it, sometimes it's the later stage companies that you weren't even thinking about that end up being the winners and losers. Nikola, the only thing I could, what I kind of want to focus on for Nikola today, if only because the last time it popped up, I was trying to short it, and if you guys were watching it last time, it wasn't even that good, despite the fact that it continuously goes down. The last time it had a big move was on the 22nd, and you're going to see this, like, it was right around here, so it's almost 9 o'clock, and it was right around these sort of pre-market highs before rolling over right into pre-market lows off of the open at 10:30, and then when it retested that high, just absolutely squeezed and broke everyone's back. So, looking at that pattern, I'll say to myself, if the same thing is going to happen again, then I think that would be the way to profit from it. So, you know, I would look for an opportunity where if there is a sell into 1030. That holds that bottom, maybe like a 1050 retracement into the long side, gets you a scalp trade. But if it bounces off at 1030 and comes all the way back to test like this 1115 for a third time or a second time, whatever you want to call it, that could be a potential breakout. That's usually a move I would be shorting. So I would think that out, which I'm going to try and stay away from today because there's other names that are on the board for me. But I'll stay away from that and then think about if that would break some back, shorting that 10 in front of the pre-market high. It could be a nice little long squeeze breakout. You know, you do have to be worried, of course, the fact that obviously Nikola has done these head fakes before, and the trend, of course, is to the downside. I just feel like usually that momentum gives you at least some kind of a scalp trade on a bit of a break. So I needed to bounce off 1030 at the open first. I wouldn't put that on if it's breaking up pre-market.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about why things are moving around and maybe why the overall market is not really at this point. We're going to have to dig a little bit deeper to find some opportunities and understand exactly why things are moving when the overall market is not. Rahim Alani is here from OCI Groups to talk a little bit about some of those reasons why things can move on, you know, in a market where you're not really getting an overall market move, but we still have to kind of find what is moving and come back to those and find those opportunities. Good to see you once again.
Likewise.
Let's talk a little bit about some reasons why we can find big outside range moves when the market's not really doing anything.
Yeah, and it works both ways. It can go the ups and the downs. Sort of the volatility piece that you might see in a stock might not have to do with the sector. And there is, like Sean was talking about, the EV space. It might be the sector move, and we'll talk about some of those today. But I think one of the things that people don't really necessarily pay attention to is things like the escrow share. So in theory, when a new issue goes out, management or at least shareholders are going to be escrowed for 6 months and have X% of their stock come available every 6 months for periods of time. Or if there was a financing done, that hold paper is going to be 4 months. And so people, if there's a big lift in the stock, you might see it trade back right after 4 months and a day, as an example. So that's something to maybe dig into if you're looking at a name, just seeing when the financings took place so that you can time your move either in or out accordingly. Warrants are the same thing. If you purchase into a financing, knowing that a warrant price is coming up, you might want to look around that as well to see what that warrant price might be, because if it gets to a certain point, there's a warrant overhang or an exercise possibility. So things like that you might want to take a look into.
Now, in general, it's safe to say we're obviously talking about some smaller cap companies, not necessarily high beta stocks. They're not really going to be tied to the market regardless of what is happening. But the point here, guys, we want to introduce you to some, opportunities that might be existing, behind the radar that not a lot of eyeballs are on, not a lot of people are paying attention to, but right, we can still capitalize on. So we brought, Raheem brought a list of stocks that we can have a look at quickly here. The majority of these that we're going to talk about, I think, or pretty much all of them, are dual listed. So primary listing here in Canada, there is either going to be an OTC listing as well, or NASDAQ in these cases. So I want to talk a little bit about Stelco Holdings to start things off, which is STZHF on the OTC market and STLC here in Toronto.
Right, and so Stelco goes sort of, maybe it's a larger cap name, so it goes to that thematic play of, in theory, the world is starting to come back to normal, and you're seeing people making infrastructure spends and things of that nature. So steel is obviously a big component of a lot of infrastructure spending. So because they have facilities here in North America and sales here in North America, they've seen their last quarter, they've seen amazing results. If you look, May 4th was just a day before yesterday, gangbuster results, shipments up, revenue up, net income up 200%. So when you put all those things together, you're going to see a big move in a stock like that. And again, around the theme of steel and infrastructure.
Yeah, if we want to throw that chart back up, guys, you can see impressive, to say the least. I mean, this is not necessarily one of those teeny tiny little micro cap companies. I mean, we're talking, better part of $30 a share for STLC. Let's continue along here. Next Gen Energy. I was reading a lot about this yesterday because of the uranium aspect here. Yeah. So tell us about NXE.
Yeah, and again, that was something that we were just touching on real quick here, is the thematic play. And uranium's had, if you look at the chart, uranium's had certainly had a run, and they've been able to take advantage of that. They have a good asset in the Athabasca region, which is popular for uranium. They did a financing, raised a bunch of cash, and had some results come out where they verified basically what they have. So you'll see, again, that trade around the uranium price commodity, right, but also on delivering on their asset.
And one of those commodities that has either been near all-time highs or kind of hovering around there over the past couple of weeks. And again, guys, we're just throwing out some ideas here to, make you aware of things that we can take advantage of, even in, an environment where the overall market is kind of just chopping around. Yes, we're at or near all-time highs, but the overall ranges on the day, not typically that big. VIQ Solutions, the next one here.
Yeah, again, a dual listed name. And that was one, again, during COVID, a lot of companies took the opportunity to find efficiencies, go to things that they were core good at, and find those opportunities for themselves on a business basis and right-size the ship. And VQS is one that did that, I think. They've been in the secured AI recordings and transcription space. They've got sticky revenue. They've got a loyal customer base. Sort of once they're in, it's recurring revenue. They did, again, during COVID, find those efficiencies with management and focusing on where they drew clients and business from. So 70% of their business exchanges in the U.S., 27% in Australia. So, probably stick to your knitting. And again, same thing, delivered some great results a couple of weeks ago, announced revenue of $30 million, EBITDA of $5 million. Still have a net loss, but they've been able to take advantage of, again, acquisitions in the space as well, and continue to sort of grow on their core business.
And still holding that gain that we saw.
Yeah,
from,
and it popped off from Monday as well. I think Monday was about $7.58.
Yeah,
and,
big move up.
yeah.
So we're still
Yeah.
holding higher. So
Yeah.
Again, going back to that, thematical type idea where you have, a general move in a group or based off of something that's happening in the world.
Right.
DigiHost technology. So we're kind of jumping all over the place as far as sectors here, but again, one of those thematical type ideas.
Yeah, and Sean was just talking about the crypto space, and this is one that's, again, right down the fairway on that blockchain crypto-based company. Done a financing, so if you look at the chart, they took advantage of the fact that the market was good and they raised a bunch of money when the market was doing really well. Trailed off a bit since then, but this is one of those names where, again, like we talked about, you'll want to take a look at when financings were done, where warrants are, things of that nature, again, especially on the smaller cap names, but it's an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that it could get back up. Again, on the fact that it's crypto, they just added another 37 Bitcoins to their asset pool. They just got the OTC listing. So they're increasing their asset base. They've got a lot of mining. Upstate New York is where they're located. And again, if you take advantage of the fact that Bitcoin's going to continue to go, if that's what they believe in, and you look at other names that got Ether or other coins that are out there,
Yeah.
take advantage of those moves. And in theory, the share price will move alongside it.
Impressive moves.
Yeah.
I mean, this week alone, again today,
Yeah.
cryptos across the board going crazy. Why Invisible Interactive?
Yeah, so that was one that we thought was a little bit different as well. It's a newer name, and they print for IoT, print onto IoT and smart devices, intelligent surfaces. And the reason that we thought this was interesting, now if you think about the fact that COVID vaccines are going to have to be delivered, they're going to have to be delivered in cold storage. This can print onto cold storage and secure that that record on the surface that it's printing on. They were forecasting revenues higher for Q4, and their results should come out soon. And I think as they announced a contract sale, you'll see on the chart the stock pops on that. And that's one of those names, again, on a smaller cap name, you'll see some of these stocks will sort of, you buy on rumor and you sell on the news. As people expect something to come, you'll start seeing a lead up into the pricing. And then once that news comes, either it'll continue to pop up or you'll see a little bit of profit taking, and then people coming back into the name again.
And another great example of something that's not necessarily tied to an overall market move, but still has plenty of opportunity in it. It wouldn't be a segment with Raheem here if we didn't have at least one cannabis stock to talk about. I Am Cannabis had news, I think it was this week or was it last week?
They had both. They had both this week and last week. They announced a financing just yesterday.
Right.
Raising $35 million is their plan at $5.75 with a half warrant. So again, that we talked about, take a look at the timing on the pricing of the warrants as well. And then they just made an acquisition in Israel, one of the largest retail and online pharmacies in the country. So they'll be able to offer medical cannabis in Israel through this acquisition. So again, a name that, to be honest, I wasn't even fully aware of until a couple of weeks ago. And then I looked and I said, holy, it's above $6 at the time. So $6 on a cannabis name is, some of those names are getting up into that. So they're based in Germany, Israel, and Canada. And again, a big toehold in Israel.
It seems as the Afria Tilray deal gets wrapped up and completed, we might see a little bit more deal making in this space.
I think there's gonna be a lot of M&A in the space because there's the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots will get acquired into the haves. I think that'll be sort of something we'll see maybe down the road.
Always a pleasure. Raheem Alani, OCI Groups here in Toronto. Good to see you once again.
Anytime.
There we go, guys. A look at some stocks that are moving, but you kind of have to go another level or two to find things that are giving you opportunities outside of what the overall market is doing, guys, on a smaller basis.
Yes, sir. And as always, happy to have Raheem here. A good look. And it's all about education here. It's getting some new symbols into your ether, out in the ether, I should say. So always going to be a good one. I take a look at it, and I'm already looking at Uber, of course, because we have to talk about that one. But I should jump at a couple of things here. If only going to say this LKCO because it's a smaller name, only done 1 million shares, and I am short this one at top side. So I'm just going to go over the position. It was right at this little high of the day at 188. Now, if you go to the daily chart, just to quickly show you guys, actually let's go to the 15. It's a better look here. They had a nice little pop going into the third. It stalled out at 195, and anytime I see this where it puts in a lower high 180, then flushes all the way into 150. You get a gap side up that cannot take that previous high, rolls over shy of it. I'm always going to like that type of a setup. So I jumped into the short. I know it's not on the watch list per se, but volume is decent. It's okay, but I like that setup really well. You can see it's already started to work into this little cluster down to 170. So you get this 10% move. If it falls all the way to 160, 165, fair enough. But at this point, I'm only holding on to 40% of the position. As always, if it starts pushing on me into 930, I wouldn't average in at that point.
No, good. Good look there on that name, and I like that name Stelco that Raheem brought us. I think that's a legit company there. Get your industrials, get some steel into your portfolio. There's a whole bunch of them that we talk about all the time in the U.S. markets, but again, ETFs, things like that. There's a lot of opportunity in this market for sure right now. If you're longer term, I'm not sure about the short term. And then he brought up some cannabis names, and then of course some names in the crypto space. Great, I love that segment. Really great to hear new names, right? And I think that's the point of that. Names that are maybe a little bit undercover. So thank you so much to Raheem Alani, OCI Group there. Very, very good, very great guest there. Happy to have him on. You know what I was noticing actually too? Pfizer today, I think they got downgraded, I believe. So Pfizer today back. Come on, charts, let's go. Pfizer back down today. This is the one-day chart. We just talked about that off of earnings, a nice bump to $40. And I've been saying sell all the vaccine names. I mean, I've been saying this for 6 to 8 months. We were wrong here in December when this thing rocketed up. But again, since then, man, I mean, it's just been a horrible move down for Pfizer, but then a great move back up. And now I think we may, this roller coaster may continue for some of these names here. I just want to bring Pfizer to attention. 1.3 million shares, already a big amount there. And then, and again, this is why it brought to my attention. The number one on the sell imbalance here is Pfizer to the downside. We could pick some up. I mean, there are lots of levels here. I don't think Pfizer is dead in the water. They do have that dividend, and there's lots going for it. But I think a retracement back to here is probably likely 37, 37.50. So you had about another $1 down before I get too interested in this name. But that's Pfizer. I just wanted. Been on our mind, and we do have Moderna. Our watch list is packed today, Brendan.
Yeah, so many, including the vaccine names on that Biden headline as well. Remember from yesterday afternoon with the World Trade Organization. Here we go. Upgrades and downgrades real quick. Yeah, PayPal on here, Fastly, General Motors, this side of things, Uber, Twilio, Pfizer, there it is again. SunPower, yeah, to the downside, but lots of big names. I mean, so many earnings to get through, guys.
Yeah, I mean, downgrades on power. It's weird about those solars because all the talk about, all the talk about investment into that space and what the administration wants to do, and you're seeing some pressure. I mean, obviously, Sun runs up after their earnings, but not the entire space. At Pfizer, we have the afternoon show, of course. You can't hold overnights. We had this one in front of that 40. Sometimes time gets the better of you. I'm not saying it was an obvious thing to hold, and obviously, as Sean said, if you're looking at Pfizer, I tend to think that you should be more concerned about, I guess, protection against extreme downside, and then that dividend. That's what this company should be about, and buying it on vaccines makes no sense to me. Vaccine news. Moderna is still on the move. I mean, that one is put in like a $15 range. Shout out to anybody that had that break when it got to the downside off of those earnings, because Moderna looking rather weak as it stands. Now, if I'm trying to load here, yeah, I mean, it just pushed all the way down through that 150 very, very briefly here, guys. So you're going to see Moderna under a crap ton of pressure, for lack of a better word here, on the move big time.
Like, that's pretty much the worst news I could have, because I was sitting here looking at things and I didn't even consider it, but it's like my number one stock there was Moderna at 150 there with all of the marks. We'll probably get it back again. Generally, though, when I write those down, and thank you again for the support on the sticky note, I like the break, like the momentum to the downside once it breaks. So now we're going to have to play it as resistance on the upside now, 150. So, yeah, I like the breakdown, like sort of, the action you get, like if you're able to short that on the way down, and now we're almost down 10%, so we may not be able to short it. Yesterday, is it shortable today? Because yesterday 1 cent, like that's a 10%. No, it's not 10% move, is it? No. So yesterday, yeah. So today will be, once it cracks through 10, it'll be short sale restricted. So I'm going to use this 150. I'm just going to plant an order there now and see if we can't get a short, up into 150. But again, that's a little more violent because if you're wrong, then people use that as the jumping spot, right? So I wanted to use, and again, like that's the thing. If you want the sticky note, it's on Twitter. But that was the #1 stock that I had today was Moderna breaking back down through 150. We did have another opportunity right there to get it at 830. So I've just been sleeping here, but I'm going to put another order there at 150 or so and see if we can't get that short. Darn it, missed it, but there's lots of opportunities.
Sell pressure coming in on some of these vaccine names so far this morning. Let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market, guys. If you haven't done so, sign up for our absolutely free to you watch list every single morning. We send it out before we come on at 8:30. It has all the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market and a little bit on why they are moving. Uber Technologies, the first one we're going to get into, was down slightly. I mean, overall, the report was kind of in line with expectations. They did take a $600 million charge in relation to the UK ruling as far as employees versus non-employees for the drivers over in the UK. They're still saying, guys, they're going to be profitable by the end of the year.
I suppose that's the good.
Where's the Uber?
Where's some of the bad comes? I was looking for it 2 second ago, Sean. There it is.
There it is. I found it.
We got those graphics in there. That's what it's all about. So quick on the trigger there, Sean. Good look, my friend. That was the good. And then you have to consider the fact that the AI sell-off of that business. They're going to get an infusion of funds because of that. So that kind of perked up the numbers a little bit. But you got to think about the fact that the take rate goes down 20%. I mean, ultimately, because of this driver shortage and trying to add incentives, they already earmarked $250 million for those incentives to get drivers back to meet that demand, which is what would take them to profitability. And there's an expectation that they're going to have to pay more. Then you throw in the regulatory risk as well, and it's a long way of saying that there is some downside risk in Uber. And if you're in it for the long term, that's a different story. Like I talked about buying last week and saying, take a small position and then be willing to hold that for long term, thinking like 5 years. And I'd be looking to maybe add to it. Well, I'm not saying you're going to be adding to it today, but I do feel like, at some point we could get a test of that 45, 46 area. If it were to get through that, you really have to start considering, whether or not you want to hang on through to those 30s. I've seen numbers bandied about here. We're talking about like $6 or $8 worth of regulatory risk, and to each their own in terms of coming up with that figure. But it's real, even though it would take some time to get any U.S. legislation pushed through or major changes. They think they'll have a good dialogue when it comes to the classifications of drivers with the administration. That can be seen as a positive. I still think it's a fantastic reopen play. People are going to get out. They're going to be driving more. I feel like that will recover a lot better than international travel with airlines, especially as some people start getting back to work and they're out and about in the city. So it maintains that look, but it's not all roses and like all these other tech just getting beaten up, even if the numbers aren't absolutely horrible. Some of what was on the call was certainly cause for concern, especially with regards to having to find ways to meet that demand and getting those drivers back in and having to spend to do so. That's going to put them under some pressure, and you're seeing that today down that 5%. They bumped initially, and then they started talking on that call, and now you're down 5.
Yeah. Don't talk too much there. Uber, guys. Look, a good report, not as bad as we thought. I have OCGN here. That's why we hit the bear. We're short OCGN with a nice little run right now in the money, 11 cents. We'll see how low that one wants to go. And again, that was one of the ones that we highlighted again on the sticky note. So at least I hit this one, guys. So making that cash for you here, hopefully. And if you're not short this name, there are going to be some bouncing spots on OCGN. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. But here we go. Nice, 15 pennies in the money. We'll take it right now. Now more. Tank City. Let's go, OCGN. Okay, Uber, I like same kind of stuff here. Surprised, very, very surprised at this number. But remember what we talked about. Oh, don't tell me. Okay, now that chart's not going to load on Uber. Great. Okay, look at this. Again, it's not as consolidated as maybe we like it on earnings to be able to play breakouts or things like that. But I mean, it is in this range, like 62. I mean, it's crazy to talk about it now, but 62 was just 2 weeks ago, right? And so now you're all the way back down testing these lows now. So you go all the way back like to November. Basically, Uber now is dead money into this area, right? And so I think, like what Neil said, I think, I mean, I've been loving this as a reopen play. I feel like when they started talking about it down here back in November, December as a reopen play, you know, it's made that move. Now you're getting that opportunity, I feel, to buy Uber pretty cheap on the down low there. They are planning on turning a profit by the end of this year, sorry, 1 quarter after their friend Lyft there. So let's wait to see. I mean, does it hold this bottom? I mean, this bottom's 48.21. I did write down that I'd like to get short into 49, and that's basically where we are right now. So let's wait to see, but I want to see what happens at this 48.25 level. Quick check here. We are now short Moderna. We finally got that, so we can talk about that. That's $1 in the money. We'll wait. Uber, this is such a strange thing. Like, it's already done. It's not done that much volume, but on earnings day, I would have really thought that we'd have had a little more interest on some of these names rather than 100,000 shares. So like that, it doesn't really make any sense to me. These imbalances, I think it is like, you know, sell in May and go away type of thing. Like, I don't know what's happening. The volume's not here. Even Fastly, Rocket, these are very low. I know we have a half hour to open right now, but let's see. I think the low sell pressure may cause this to start heading back northbound. I think it's a little bit overdone here. 4% today. What was it? 7 or 8% yesterday. So, I mean, I think enough is enough on this Uber. They came with a decent report. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to, you know, go short right this second. I want to let it open up. Uber, as Neil knows, Brendan knows, you guys all know, it's a very violent stock. Like, it can go, we were just talking about 56 yesterday, right? And so let's watch the open prints and see where this thing goes. I'll just show you graphically what this Moderna, if it even works, what this looks like. There it is. So we did just take that short there, 149.75, like we said we would. We like this 150 break. So I'm just going to give this back to like not too much room here in the pre-market. So let's wait to see if we do get this flush back down to 147. We lost $3 or $4 on it at the closing show yesterday. Hopefully we don't have the same fate now and we can make that back.
I saw that SOS on the imbalance locator there as well, the crypto name. Another one that reported after market yesterday. Let's talk about the overall market here. Not much to talk about, I don't think, but let's bring in Arun and see what he's looking at as far as the futures are concerned. So huge moves on individual stocks on earnings, Arun, but dead flat once again here for the market.
You said it, Brendan. There's not a whole lot to talk about. We're just going to keep working what we've been working with since yesterday, which is that top end around that 41.75 area or so. Yesterday, I used 41.80. I'm going to move that one a little bit further out today. I'm going to use 41.90 as a stop on the upside. So anything above 41.70, I'm going to look for some potential shorts. No rush into this market, not yet anyways. So I'm going to see how it plays out. Let's get above 41.70, see if we can kind of slow down a little bit, set something up, and then maybe go for a short there. But to the downside, I mean, if it goes, it goes, and then you just play it as it goes. But I've got no levels to the downside, and there's really isn't a whole lot to the individual stocks are moving, but the indexes aren't. Keep in mind, all the major players in the indexes, well, I think the majority of the major players, especially on the tech side, have already reported. So there's no catalyst from there either to move the indexes. So this is going to have to be one of those either news-based catalysts, or it's just gonna be a quiet day and then we kind of figure things out as we finish off the week tomorrow. But for now, at least, the only play I've got is potential shorts above 41.70 if we can get a setup, and I'll use 41.90 as a stop.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. We are under 30 minutes until the open, guys. Let's continue along with what is moving around in the pre-market. Etsy, another one that reported. Their report actually better than expected for the first quarter, but they did warn about increasing costs on merchandising sales because of shortages in gaining some of these materials. So overall, the report good, but Etsy, another one looking a little weak here, guys.
Yeah, we saw, I mean, again, I'm actually surprised, to be honest with you, because the software names have done well. OCGN, we just covered another piece down there. Good cover there at 136. So now we'll wait to see. I have 928. Okay, this may even, okay, whatever, I'll take the 28s. Okay, let's go to Etsy now. So I'm surprised at this number because honestly, I mean, we saw what Pinterest did, but Pinterest and Etsy, similar, but not really. you know, the thing about it is that I thought Etsy would actually have a much better quarter, if not like not down 8%, like down a couple percentage points. Every tech name has been hit, but again, like they can't blame the shortage in the semis. They can't blame all of these different issues, right? What they're looking at now is the reopen and then the year-over-year numbers for Etsy. So it is going to be hard to beat. I mean, last year was a monster for any of these stay-at-home stocks. We know that. So if you're going to compare year-over-year, you're probably going to miss every time. But a nice rebound back up. Like I said, I think it was probably more overdone down to the downside, 163, 164. Probably probably worth buying down at those levels. If you look at a daily chart, again, the same kind of thing. A lot of these stocks basically back to like November, December levels for sure. Like a lot of these tech names. I don't know if you can find one that's not really right now. So let's wait to see. I mean, if not lower. 163, we're right in here. And this is that level, 150. I mean, it's 155. That's still a little ways down, but if you do get a crash, I think you can look at Etsy like around these levels. I still can't. I mean, I remember when Etsy came out, it was like $5, $10. Like this is going to be a lot lower if you go back. So just a monster run up. A lot of these stocks have just seen their best days. And whether or not their best days are coming again, they were huge for the last couple quarters. Let's see what they can deliver now. But for me, Etsy, I don't even really have any levels. I didn't write anything down. I mean, Neil probably has something, but on a 3-minute chart, you have this 170, but I think that that's going to get taken out, no problem. And then, just a big drop, maybe 172 if you're looking to short, 172 maybe. Or if you think this is overdone like I do, I think a 172 break to the high side is probably worth it.
I think maybe the other way to look at it, and the only reason I could say that I'm a little bit not surprised, after what happened to eBay and Pinterest, it was hard to expect that anything that was going to come out of Etsy was going to be seen as good. In some ways, it would have been nice to be looking at 155 because I would absolutely love it. I think for the day trade at least, I mean, if it was at 155, I think you'd just be looking to buy on the open or buy any kind of a dip. I don't know that I want to treat the 160 with that regard, but I am looking at this one, I guess call it like this 165 little cluster area, and just the fact that we're bouncing back and we're getting right into the aftermarket consolidation range. I mean, I kind of feel like if there's going to be a bit of a, I guess, rubber band action, you're going to have hopefully a dip into that 65 before any potential breakout through that 170, which does seem like resistance. And I don't love the 170 break because it takes into that 172. I think it's a little bit too tight when I expect Etsy to have a bit of a spread there. So I'm looking at 165 as the level for me. If it dips down, $4 or $5 off of the open, or maybe snaps a little too quickly, I'll try to catch that long. And then you just look to these support levels like 163.50, that little buy support in the pre-market as you're out. Gives you like 2 to 1, something along those lines if you like that 170 out. I'm going to try playing the long side. It would probably, it would probably have to touch 175 for me to want to fade it. Today, I wouldn't write anything off. I guess anything's possible in this market. So just in case that happens, it would have to be up there, and then I'd be thinking about that short.
All right, let's go to Fastly next. Another one, FSLY, to the downside this morning. The report again, it's same old story almost. In line with expectations. We heard Mark talking earlier in this earnings reporting season about the importance of guidance. Here's another one, guys, that the guidance came up a little bit weak for Fastly.
Yeah, I think the difference with Fastly in the chart is you have a bit of a more clear, I suppose, breakdown into like into another level of trading here, and you go all the way back into June when you had the real run up in Fastly. Of course, look, it was great off the bottom. A lot of stocks came up off the bottom and made that big run. This really started to get crazy in June at a break of that $50 level. So. We're back down below that $50 now. You sort of look at that cluster before the breakout, and it was like 43, 44. I think that's the only place I'm willing to even look at for a bit of a defense there, guys. Also, watch out that MITO breaking to the upside. I got this one short, and if it gets to 220, that's almost holding on to it too long. No averaging in on this as it heads on the run. This is up 9 million in volume, worth a watch for sure. MITO, small float. But Fastly, if it gets down to that 43, 44 area, that's where I'd be looking to possibly defend it. That's a couple of dollars down, which to me doesn't give you a ton of cover on the short trade. If you're shorting 46, you might slip in and get like $1.50 before I'm actually thinking about any kind of amount of a long defense, which makes it easier to sort of short any kind of a pop, which is what I would rather do into that 48.30 to call it like 49.5 range, maybe even $50 on Fastly. I don't know that I can go long on this one today unless I'm catching it down around that June low, or June cluster, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna look. I only wrote down 49 here on Fastly, so like a short back into 49, something like that. That's what's on my list here. We'll see if it can come back. I mean, this is the bottom. Yeah. Again, my chart, I stopped them at basically at 5, and then I opened them back up at 7:30. So there are going to be other levels here, but this 49, this little area here between 49 and 51, where we bounced off earnings, that's an area that I want to watch on Fastly. So we'll wait to see if it comes back up to 49. It's just, again, like down 20%. Like, I mean, a lot of these names, you know, like people celebrate. We celebrate when our stocks go up 5%, 10%, something like that. And then in one quick day there, you're down 20 points on one of these names. So yeah, giddy up on FSLY. I just took a long on this MITO. So let's see what happens to this one. Going to the upside right now, we're long at 11s. So here we go. Let's see if it wants to continue this epic run. 80%, guys, MITO.
Let's go to Peloton next, guys. We learned of the recall yesterday that they have agreed to on both the treadmill and the treadmill plus products after these unfortunate injuries and one child death in the U.S. Was caused by these treadmills. So one of the biggest movers to the downside yesterday. We're down another 3.5% here for Peloton.
Yeah, and we said this yesterday in the show, and obviously there were some opportunities. I went long a few times and was able to make money on Peloton, believe it or not, but I should have had some shorts. I still think, of course, it was the right decision, them doing the recall. Sometimes the extreme action is the right one. It broke through that 80, which we thought could be a little bit of support, and now you are heading down towards, well, like this top here, going back to August, is 74, and this breakout was at about 77, 78. So I look in the middle of that range and think if there's any kind of support in Peloton, it's got to be at least down there today. So I'll try to catch a bounce if it does make another move. The good news is that it would give you enough consolidation yesterday that if you tried any of those types of lows, like that 81 bottom in front of 80 gave you some good bounces, so it did work out for you. You know, that first look at 88 when it made that low, that gave you a decent bounce. So when it gives you that consolidation, there are chances to go long in the stock. I probably wouldn't be like anything but a quick little scalp bounce unless we're back above, I'd say like 82.5, 83 or so, and trying to break back to the upside. Still going to be under pressure. I think if it comes to 85, I'll be looking to fade it at that range at least one time through, and then maybe turn bull if that doesn't work. Otherwise, let's wait around for 75. I don't think there's any need to rush to buy Peloton in this particular environment.
No, I was going to look. I was watching that MITO there, $2.16 was my out. I have another one upside again. Let's wait to see where that goes. Our out is obvious there, that 180. So no worries on that one. We'll wait to see. We're almost out of our Moderna. I'm only going to let this one go up to 152. So we'll take a $2 hit on that if it goes up. No, we'll wait on it, and at this point, it doesn't matter. Okay, Peloton, yeah, big moves to the downside. I actually just wrote down, watch out for an 83 long in case we get back up to that side. This is the minute chart again. You saw 83 yesterday, hold a little bit here in the afternoon, so I just want to see if it can break. I mean, the higher side is 84 right there, 84.25, but I just, I'm kind of just using some of these levels. 83 was the close yesterday, in and around the close anyways. We'll see if they can defend that. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but again, big move down yesterday. You could see the chart, and like I said, what name? Forget about the news. I mean, obviously the news is there and it's bad, but there's a lot of these high-flying stocks that have come right back down. And like, if you've been an investor in Peloton and you didn't get anything out, like right now you're just, you're wondering what's going on. So I think that you have some consolidation here. People have been tweeting at me, is Peloton a buy here? I think they think it's a screaming buy. I'm not convinced yet, but I still think you have 78.50. I mean, that's basically where we are right now. That's the bottom here. So I don't mind Peloton here, right? I mean, this is the IPO. It only IPO'd in August? No, that can't be right. I think, is that right? I feel like Peloton's been around longer than that. Let me check another. Yeah, Peloton's been along a hell of a lot longer than that. So this level doesn't really mean anything. It's just a consolidation right here, $79 and $80, right? So I like this right here. Let's see if it holds. If it does, then I do think we get a bump back into like the mid 80s. So that's why we're targeting that 83 as a spot to go long on Peloton. I do like the short. Let's just, again, I think today, man, it's just so specific. You need to see the action. And until we do, I'm going to wait to see where these stocks go. I won't be in many positions right off the open.
Man, I remember talking about that IPO when it happened. That was September 26, 2019, guys. Wow. It's been a while, yeah. Let's go to Moderna. They raised their full year 2021 sales forecast for specifically their COVID-19 vaccine, as many of the other vaccine makers have done this quarter. I think really the only numbers that matter here are 1.9 billion on the revenue versus 8 billion in the same quarter last year.
Yeah, look, and of course, I guess there's the news coming out of the administration as well. I mean, Sean sort of already covered Moderna, and we talked about that. Briefly was mentioning that 150, which it sort of came and went, and this is unfortunate because it looked like such a fantastic level that first time through. But 830 is it's a tricky trade at 825 anyways. If you had the first rollover, I know some people were looking at this in the chat, that was at that one, yesterday's low, that 157 break, let's call it. I know it was just below that by like 25 cents or so, but either way, I call it 157. It made a higher low at 156. That's where I'm looking to play. If we pop into that range, I want a short in front of that 156 and change or so. You give it to that yesterday's low, I'd probably start to position in front of 155, but risking a couple of dollars in that regard. To the south side, it has made a bit of a double bottom. So, well, I shouldn't say double bottom, but a bit of a bottom here at 147. That is worth noting. So I would temper my expectations with that short, maybe thinking it's only worth maybe down to like 150, maybe an attempted break of that 150 if it does get a pop off the open. I am willing to. I've taken Moderna in pre-market before. I'm kind of willing to do it. I don't necessarily love it if you get one big spike in like a minute or two, but it gradually comes in and spikes off the open. I'll take that first entry, but I'm looking at yesterday's low, and that would be the out.
I want to say thank you as well. Good name there, Sean. You just said it there. I like to give call outs to traders, and thank you for that nice call on MITO. Yeah, really super happy with that one as it just continues to go. Right now, we're going to be 3 for 3. Moderna now back into the money there. Look at MITO go. Wow, thanks, Sean. I didn't even realize how much that was up there. Thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Sean. Going to the upside, 225 now. Big win here. This is that 20 cents in the money that Neil talks about. You know, taking that 10% win on a stock like this. Maybe we'll take another piece off right now. I mean, if it keeps going, then why would we take anything off? But MITO at 25, I like getting them out, you know, this area. So I've already talked about Moderna over and over again. Well, not over and over again, but we did talk about it a little bit in the pre-market. My out is that 152. Thank God it didn't fill. I think it will fill though in the open. Like I thought taking this might have been the high there, and then we would see a little bit of depression back down, but it doesn't seem to be the way right now. So we were $1.30 or 40 in the money at one point on this play, and right now we're right back to flat. So what a great short. That, like, I targeted 152 as my out. I should have targeted that as my in on the short side. So yeah, anyways, Moderna right now, that's going to be my out, and then we'll watch it again. Like I said, this is not, to me, I don't want to be caught in anything off the open, and this is why. Like, look at NASDAQ. Like, it's not doing anything. We talked about that with Arun and the pre-market. Like, he's waiting. You know, we don't understand why there's nothing really happening. You talked about that with Raheem as well, Brendan. Like, you know, pick different stocks right now. We love to look at stocks that are in play, and that's why we're doing it. Get our watch list. It's absolutely free. We're running it over. My sticky notes are up as well. I believe Brendan and Neil put up some trades ideas as well in the morning, so you guys can all check that out. But this is what we're working with. I have Moderna to the short side, and I'm going to wait to see this 147 break. It either, basically, this is what it is. It's either $3 this way or $3 or about $2 that way, and that's a good risk profile for me. I don't love this trade now that I see what it just did at 152, but let's wait to see. Hopefully it just continues down, and we will be able to get a piece out somewhere around 140, 147.
All right, another one getting sold, to say the least, this morning. Rocket Company's next. Missed a little bit on their earnings expectation. It was a penny. The EPS missed by a penny. Revenue rose 236% to 4.6 billion, but still down here. There was obviously the Wall Street Bets tie-in going back to the beginning of this year, but crazy moves beginning of this year. Rocket getting sold here again today, guys.
Yeah, I wrote down there's still 10% short interest, right? So people that think that, hey, maybe this can get blown to the upside, I think it can, But wow, I mean, they missed by, I mean, you just hit it right
By
there,
that
Brendan.
much.
They missed by 1 cent, and that's 14% down, apparently there. So we'll wait to see. Again, I cannot believe some of these levels right here just keep getting taken out down to the downside. But if you look at a daily chart, it's really no worries as far as I'm concerned here on the daily, because you do have still these bottoms. Like I mean, you could still pick this thing up. You want to talk about an IPO, there's lots of companies that are well below their IPO price and a lot that are still above, right? This stock just remains basically flat, and it's a shame because it's been out for about a year. Let's call it 8 months, let's call it 10 months from last August, and then it only really had, I mean, sure, it got going there, that's great. We were part of it here as well, and then we were part of it here and got some out in the mid 30s, but we're still holding bag on this. We haven't invested any more on Rocket. Do I like it? Yes, I do. But I only really like it because of what it looks like here as bottoms, right? We were wondering why Palantir took forever to get going through $9 now, or through $10, I guess, low of $9.50. And I think the same thing's going to be true of rocket companies. Again, you know, right space, but not executing, I guess, the way Wall Street hoped that they would. So not a great look here for RKT today, but again, you know, the level I wrote down was 2050. So if we can break back up here, 2050, then I think we can blow upside. But until then, let's watch to see what happens off the open. Is there an imbalance on Rocket? Yes. So there it was. There it is there. 200,000 to sell. So they don't like it, but we'll wait to see what Rocket has in store.
I kind of looked at this 1960 on Rocket just off the pre-market lows, and if 1960 can go, it was, and this little ramp, and it did make a dollar move to the upside, but this was on light volume at 7 o'clock. Coming to the upside. Now, if it does break this 1960, where there's some consolidation before that break, I'm going to like it to maybe give it to that pre-market low. See if it can't retrace back into 20 as a bit of a scalp trade. So, you know, Rocket's on the radar. It's done 2 million in volume, which is pretty solid pre-market. You got to go with what's moving. It is going to be short sell restricted. I'm not shorting through the low of the day on Rocket. It would probably have to make a push to at least, like, you know, I'd call it like 2250 before I'd want to jump into that. But I'm looking 1960s, which is basically right here.
Everyone remembers the Archegos mess with Viacom, Viac got crushed. If we look at the chart here, guys, real quick, I just want to show you the daily chart. Remember this, 100 and change up here comes all the way down to 40. So this is their first report today since that happened, and it was actually a really, really good report for Viacom, but only 2.6% here. It's actually trying to hold 40 as we speak for Viac. I mean, I feel like this is almost a case of there's so many other things to look at. Not a lot of people looking at Viacom today.
That could be the reason, because to be honest, when you first mentioned it, and I hadn't looked at Viacom yet when you mentioned it this morning, Brendan, my thought was, okay, well, you'll probably get a bounce. I mean, everyone's going to be looking at the value. Look at that daily chart and look at how far it can go. Yet we're still in the midst of an opportunity to possibly break out on Viacom. And I look at the last couple of sessions, and I just sort of had this 40-50 written down, and I say if it goes through the top, why not have a look at that price range? You know, 40 on the daily was, I mean, obviously, the daily is going to look a little ridiculous because of that whole archipelago mess. But that 40 is a great little consolidation level. It's off of this higher low when the bottom got put in. And I like to think there's a shot at the breakout. My one concern is exactly what you said, Brandon, that no one is watching this stock today. It's done decent volume. I'm going long through pre-market high. I know I said 40.50. It's technically 40.63, so you can round that one up and let it break the actual high. On Viacom, that 10-cent spread is basically, well, I mean, it's only 5 now, but a second ago we were looking at a 10-cent spread. So it's sort of splitting hairs. You can let it trade through 65s. Realistically, if you're having to give it back at least 50 pennies to $1 on the minimum side for a stop, it's not going to matter too much whether you get 50 or 65. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot at Viacom, just given that opportunity, given the fact that there aren't too many appealing positive reports there. And I just got that rocket, see if that can break towards the pre-market high. I like Viacom. I'm hoping there's people that are actually looking at this stock today and understanding that, hey, they had some good numbers. They've been beaten up. This is not a bad level for Viac.
Yeah, we're also holding out here. Moderna coming back down to the downside. Yeah, we wrote down Viac 40.75 for a break to the upside. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we're still not there yet. But 40.75, I do like this one. For the long, we'll see about a break there. Yeah, so here we go. I just want to talk about Moderna quickly there. It does go back down. Like I don't even have any bids out. I sort of want to see what happens off the open. Maybe a mistake not to take some kind of profit here. Here's a 20-minute chart. We haven't even been like anywhere near these levels in a hell of a long time. So just wondering what it's going to do downside. Is there going to be buyers that come back into this name or not today? Not sure. We have those waivers from yesterday and then the earnings report. So right now, Moderna, like even on a daily chart here, like I don't know, like there's 154. We're obviously lower than that now, so we're break below the 50-period moving average. There's not really too many levels. I mean, there's a gap here from 147 down to 143. So that's kind of the acceleration there. We haven't traded that much in this area, so I think that's why there's going to be some price discovery right now. So whatever. I think this is well worth the risk here for me. So we're going to take this through 150, 147. We're already short. See, now it's flat again. So we're going to have to wait on Moderna here, guys. I don't even have a bid at 147. Let's put it like near that 143 in case it really does flush.
Yeah, some of the vaccine makers still looking very weak, guys. OCGN as well. Another one that we've been talking about. NMRD, another one that's been crazy to the upside over the past week or so. We got as high as 16. If you remember going back about a month or so ago, yesterday was around this 1250, 1450 here in the pre-market. So 1250, as I mentioned, right here, right now for this NMRD. Above that, 1350 and then 1450. Top end levels for NMRD. If it starts to hold where it is right now, it could break the highs, guys.
Yeah, this is the key hole. I mean, I actually had this one right in front of this 1260 area for a quick little short. I should have reversed long. It was momentum through yesterday's high. So that's the key price. There's no question about it, like Brennan said. If it does want to test at the open, I do look at that 14 to 1450 area. If it were to fail up there, it could be good for a quick little reversal short on NMRD. But there is a lot to get to. With only about 5 minutes to go, I got that rocket. Still waiting for a move in Moderna and an LKCO on the move. And I know there's a couple of names in here, and I just talked about that via C, but just back over to, if I can quickly, to Uber, because I realized, unfortunately, I didn't actually say anything about what I wanted to kind of look at for today on the stock. So Uber making another push to the downside, and unfortunately, I would have liked to see a test, maybe giving me a shot to short in front of that 50 range. And this is, again, I like Uber, but we're day trading here and we're playing with the momentum. If this push now extends probably into this like 49.50, I'm going to take a shot at a rollover in front of the pre-market high. It's not going to wait for 50, given that it's already started to come down. So adjusting the plan a little bit as Uber just fell another $1.
Uber fell another $1. Oh my God. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Darn it. Again, I like the short, guys, from 49. But again, it's the number one stock on the top there, Uber, short through 49. That's just because it was number one on our watch list. So the best opportunity I thought was this Moderna one that I'm in. So let's wait to see if that does hit up. Yeah, I know you're in Rocket, so that's a good one. Rocket on the downside, though. I know Neil just talked about it. I just want to look at myself. I think it was 950 was a good one. Yeah, exactly. 940, the bottom there, 935. I'm going to park a bid somewhere around here right now. See if we can't take a little bit of a long on this name, and then hold it through 19. If it wants to break 19, then we'll watch that even closer when that does come through. So Uber, Apple, Moderna, Fastly. We can take a look at that quickly to see what that's doing. PayPal. Oh, we didn't. Did we get to PayPal? PayPal.
No.
Yeah, big monster report yesterday. I feel like they're doing everything right. They've been hit, obviously, in some of this wreck. Their exposure to crypto, I mean, they're just an avenue to get crypto. So it's not like they're holding too much of it, and it's not on their balance sheet. Not the same way it's on Tesla's balance sheet or anything like that. That's BTC anyways. I just wrote down this, wasn't it 262? Yeah, right here. So this break on the daily chart, 262, I like it for the long year. It's at 255 right now. If we could dip back into like 250, I think that's worth a long. So I'm going to put a bid there. I'm going to watch this 262 level. But again, like even the positions I'm in right now, Moderna's okay sizing because I think there's a chance for it to go. But like MITO, OCGN, even Rocket, some of these other names, like I'm not absolutely in love with these. So we're going to have to, I'll take a little bit of Rocket right now. But the positions aren't going to be huge off the open. Much more interested in waiting to see where the plays come from today in this market. So let's give it a wait. We just got long more Rocket on the bottom there, 54s. So that's going to be my average price. We're going to wait to see where this one goes. But there's only 2 minutes to go. Like I'm excited for today. It's just like for right now, there's so much happening and the market's not doing anything. So we need some guidance, and I think it will come. Look at that big level right there on Rocket too.
Yeah, and I'm going to look at a Sunrun. I did mention Sunrun, but a big level. On the New York book, Sean mentioning 1950 on Rocket. That's a big buyer. A Sunrun, a solar play that is actually up up 6%. You look at the flush out bottom at 41, consolidation here, chance for a 45 breakdown. I know it's spiked up a couple of times to 45.50, but I'm looking clean at 45. I think because of the spread, it's a lower volume. I'd rather have be early into a break and give myself some cover as opposed to paying the absolute top. So if it breaks this level here at 45.50, hopefully I'd already be into position and can make a better judgment call as to what the momentum looks like going into the open. It is more thinly traded. It has had a spread at times like 30 or 40 cents in the pre-market. It's tightened up now, but Sunrun also on the radar this morning. There was a lot. We probably said there was going to be a lot to get to in this morning. I feel like it was a little bit of an understatement, Sean.
So I'm putting some rocket orders upside now as it's starting to go a little bit here. It's at 68. We're long at 54. There's 975 there. We don't want that, but we want to take some out if it gets near 20 to celebrate that win. A big win for Moderna right now as well, $2 in the money. We're just going to wait. We're going to hold on to some of these things, man. OCGN, MITO, Moderna bouncing around. No idea what's going to happen. We'll probably get taken out of Moderna early if it rips back up, but nice little trade now, 148. You can take that bid if you want it. We're short at 149.75, so that's $1.75 in the money with only 10 seconds to go here, Neil. Let's hit that countdown.
Yeah, Miss V is on the bell. I want to let you guys know that LKCO, we did make money on the short. It is running towards the top, so watch out. 5, 4, Miss V, 3, 2, and 1. Let's ring that bell. I almost said hump day again. It is Thursday. It's Thursday, so let's get the party started. This Sunrun might actually give a shot at that 45 right away, but I'm also going to be looking at Rocket. Now, it's New York stock, so it hasn't really opened up yet. Of course, as I say New York, I type in NASDAQ on Rocket because that's what I do. So Rocket hasn't opened up yet. That 1950 still holding. I'm long at 63s. Sunrun just triggered in at that 45. So we thought it was going to be active and already into a couple of those long positions. Sunrun is on the run, but that level here is what I want to show you, that 45.50. I want to be able to make a judgment call at that high of the day in case it couldn't break through, whether I want to add or not. I'm going to go ahead and not add because the volume isn't really there on this move just yet. We'll stick with the 45.11s that we have and sort of be happy if it breaks through. That'll take some out in front of 46. Not a lot of things that are moving to the upside after earnings, and this solar name was one of them.
Yeah, not much happening right now at all. I have 5 positions, 2 shorts, 3 longs. Okay, so Moderna, it's crazy because there it goes. That level that I called, 147, why am I not sitting there taking out $3 on this name? And instead, now it wants to retrace back to the upside. Looks like we'll lose now. I mean, we're flat on this trade right now, but that move to the downside should have. I talked about putting a bid there, and I didn't do it. So I deserve to lose on this one. We'll see if that is the case, though. We have it bid now downside it went to 146.50, guys. If I'm not going to take, honestly, $3, then I don't know if I deserve to win on this trade, but we'll wait to see. New position alert here. Ford. We just took it 363. We liked Ford yesterday. Let's see if it can move today. Long 63s on Ford.
I said that was bad timing, interrupting you with that, but it was upside. So Ford to the upside. Run does make that break. I do take it slow down. So I took some out for a 60-cent win. 45.50. We knew there was going to be a lot to get to. It's now $1 in the $1.25, $1.30 in the money. If you look at the middle of the spread here, so it is on the run. It's up 10% now, but the daily chart shows a bit of a story. This cluster here at the beginning at 47, that's for sure going to be an out. I will play a dip buy as well to stay net long, but I'm going to take it in front of 47 if I can. We've seen these reversals before on early moves, and then buying the dip has been the way to go. When it comes to Rocket, it's right back at that 1960 area.
Yeah.
So Rocket's not really,
we were able to. Yeah, well, I'll give a little bit of daps to Rocket there because we were able to get out at 80 there. So we did get out some at 80. Now let's see where it goes from here. So Rocket still very, very profitable today, but now it's breaking, not very, very profitable. That was a good trade. That was 25 cents. So now we'll wait to see where it goes from here. But okay, Moderna, I will not miss this time, I hope. I'm on the bid here, 146 low. Come on, go a little bit more, baby. Let's go. Can we take this $3 winner for you on Moderna? Right here, 146 and change. Why am I waiting for this, Brendan? Let's go, Moderna.
All right, Peloton. Guys, another one just popping up on volume off the open, trying to take back yesterday's low, 81.40, 81.45. Watch on PTON, guys.
So there it is. So we do take that $3. We took out a little bit of Moderna there. $4 winner there on $4 winner I'm talking about. $3 and change on mRNA. So a nice little win there. See ya, Moderna. Let's keep going to the downside as we're blowing up right now. Accounts left and right going crazy. Ford upside, nice trade there. MITO. Bang, MITO, let's go. The horses are kicking on this one. We're just going nuts right now today. 5 for 5 today. Hopefully OCGN will come back down, but right now, MITO, a nice out. We'll take one more piece and see if it can't fly even higher. MITO, let's go.
Gonna power it up here. It was the first position on the board this morning, and we're sitting in it for a while, this LKCO. It tried to get to the top. If it had gotten to 185, I would have gotten more shares in, but it only got to 180. Just flushed down to 168, so I gotta take some profit out when it gets to that point. I'm now looking at that sun run, and there was a pullback right into here. First time through 45, it bounces to 70s. I tried to catch it on the way up. This time I'm going to sit in front of that 45. So that was at not necessarily the pre-market high break, but I'm now talking about sort of where I got the break at 45, even if I can catch it again long in front. We've already banked some profit on this, and I want to stay to the long side as the defense of this 44 does come in. It's the only thing with positive earnings that was holding the upside that I could see. And of course, the market just turned red, but just barely, guys. Just barely the market is red.
Okay, guys, I'm just tweeting this out. Like, what a great morning already for us here at Trader TV Live. And we got to just keep on going. We don't need to tweet. We need to trade. So there it is. We'll put that up on Ford. Look at this trade on Ford, guys. We just got out. Like, they're at 70. Like, wow, did it run to 70. Look at the futures, Tank City. And guess what, Valeria? I won't hit you. Down to 144 right now. $6 winner on MRNA. $6 winner. Let's roll it, guys. Big time trading happening over here today. Big win here on MRNA. May just take some out, guys. Wow, it is still going. Again, I talked about that on the daily chart, that we didn't really have any love in this area. So now we come. Wow. Okay, let's take a piece out, man. I'm going to take this $6 winner.
Yeah, I mean, Moderna, what a move. A great one there. I like the short a little bit higher. Was unable to get it. Oh, speaking of shorts, Uber just came in, guys. So Uber broke that 49. I had to move my short to the downside when it made that flush of a buck going into the open. So I just got 49.27. It's instantly retesting 49 even. We get a breakthrough there. Look, it did not just print 48.50. It's still at 49 even. If it breaks through 49, I'll look to take some profit off in front of that 48.50. And look, it's not about the bias in the stock, because obviously I like them. It's more about the price action. And in Uber, I wanted the fade trade into any kind of strength, and that's exactly what's happened here. About 40 pennies in the money. Got the reload on run, and it is trying to get that little bounce back. I didn't get any shares in front of 44, so it's still holding at that 45 range we got in the first time. So a couple of times to the long side there. In the Uber short that's working, and Rocket's still doing essentially nothing, really?
Yeah,
right back at 50.
Essentially, okay. We're long at 47 right now, so we'll wait to see on that. Uber, yeah, good run down. Oh, it's right back to 49 where we like it. Look at MITO. Let's go. Like, big time trading over here, guys. We're out of, I mean, I'm holding such a small part now of MRNA. We actually took more out there at the bottom. So there we go. We took a 144.50 out. So like 150. And again, like, if you're not, look, if I don't get more likes, and I'm going to be serious about this, like on this post here, like, this is the Moderna trade right here, guys. Like 53 likes, like, look in the middle. This is what we're talking about. Moderna short 150. That's what we liked. We talked about that early on the show, and there's the cash right there on MRNA. We reverse long side on OCGN. So this one, again, we'll be negative on it. So, tell you the truth. But we do hold the long now. We cashed more out on the long on this 10-10 break. So a nice trade here. 15 cents now in the money on OCGN. Rocket trying to do its thing, Neil. We got to wait for it.
Yeah, sorry. I was about to show you, because I had some levels on OCGN, but my chart just giving me some trouble there, so I can't really show it to you. Sunrun, if it gets back up to that 46, I'm going to rinse and repeat the exact same trade. Like, I want to get out some in front of the 46. I have an order in front of 47 to try to capture that same profit. You look over to Uber, on the other hand, and going to go to Brandon in a second, and it's consolidating off as 49. It keeps having these dark pool wicks at 48.50. This is a 49 consolidation. So the next time it breaks it, I will have to scalp some off. I don't want this running too far to the upside without the ability to get more shares up near that top. Brendo?
Initial selling on most of these starting to reverse, guys. Look at Etsy here. Held this pre-market low off the open, now ripping back to the upside, trying to take back aftermarket lows from yesterday, guys.
I think we need to realize that that's exactly what we said would happen, right, guys? We said that we'd have to let these stocks settle down. The real big win here for me was this mRNA. So, I mean, until we see something else, guys, like, I'm just going to chill. A big win on Ford as well, all the way back upside. So that's a big win. And now we just wait on Rocket. Like, that's really the next shoe to drop for me is this Rocket. We're long at 1947. Not a great situation here. I understand that. But we're going to, that's still Ford. Sorry, we got to get out of that one. Rocket 1947. But I'm still waiting for this 19 bottom. If that hits, then we'll change our mind up on Rocket. But for right now, I think it may be worth digging in a little bit more. It looks like the shorts are not getting squeezed here today on Rocket.
Yeah, well, obviously not getting squeezed. It'd be going a heck of a lot faster than that if it was. And I'll try to show you an MRD. I'm having a bit of a chart issue with this, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. So sorry, I'm not even going to look at that stock. It's ridiculous. Nicola, we talked about this, and of course it's now. Sean, take over. All my charts just froze.
Yeah. Okay. Just to give you back an update here on mRNA, so I'm still going to use this 150 now as our out. So I've just changed it. I have 7% or so left of this trade because I did get a part fill down there. So 7% left of this trade, and we're just going to use the upside, man. It's still a $3 winner, so we're taking that one to the bank all day long here, and that is our favorite stock of the day. Moderna off earnings and off that warrant there yesterday, waiver, for their vaccine. We'll see what that goes. But the runner of the day, though, guys, and thank you for the love on this trade as well. Some people on the chat giving it up for this. MITO. What a great trade that was, man. The only thing was, should have reloaded it back at $2 there. Look at that, man. Nice move upside. MITO. Hopefully you guys have that one as well. Rocket still chilling. Got to get out of that one, though, if it does break. We talked about those levels that were of concern, and it looks like they're coming through on Rocket down to $19 right now, guys. Got to get out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I just took that one. I'll go gates of hell for Rocket. We're back and loaded. A bit of a gap in my chart. Trust me, like Sunrun didn't just gap up. From like 45.50 to like 45.80. There was a bit of a pause in my chart there. Either way, we did get along twice at 45.11. And the second time was technically 45.15. Same thing. I'll take some out in front of 46. I like this one to the long side. Of course, that worked out much better than Rocket, so 1 for 2 with those longs. And I like this one up to 47, which we showed you on the higher time frame. So going to maintain the long position there. That LKCO was still pretty much good to go, at least for now. And then I did want to I wanted to try to show you guys Ocugen. Let's see if this is actually going to work for me here. Ocugen looking like it's pressing towards, and this is a level for me. This is like yesterday in the afternoon at 1065. This is the failure I was looking to catch. Just missed it a little bit here. If I get like 45s to 50s with a 1065 stop area, that's what I'd like to get on Ocugen. That's the one I was trying to get.
Okay, so MRNA right back, man, again. So we're still crushing this name straight back to the downside here, mRNA. So good. Now it's $4. I mean, it just came right back down to the low again of 145. Our best out, 144.30 right now, but we're still rolling with it. So let's wait to see. Okay, Ford, some more outs here at 66, but we're already out of majority of this trade. So now let's wait to see. I don't really have too many downside levels. We saw that 142 yesterday that we liked. We will defend this 150 bottom if that comes through. We always get questions on that. So I made one last stance here. I took my largest position on Rocket right now. So, we're long at 1920, which is fine. We've already taken a little bit out here. That's nothing compared to obviously what we have now. Let's just wait to see where this goes. All these dark prints like at 1978 there is really pissing me off. But we're going to come to the downside here. What is the size? Before I throw it to Brendan, is there anything at 19? No, that's not significant enough to block this move. So I don't think there's going to be much love there. If we break through 19, which is going to happen, then we're going to be gone. It looks like that's going to happen right now, Brendan.
Another one moving early on here, guys. Kellogg reported here in the pre-market. Initial strength being sold as well. So the ones that were sold are being bought, and vice versa. Anything that was higher seems to be fading, guys.
And I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I talked about this 49 holding over and over again here on Uber. So when I get those 27s, I get some out of 29. It shot up, and I was trying to catch some on the way back down here when it hit that 49.50. And that was a perfect sort of entry point. It spiked up. This is exactly when I was having that little chart issue. But I was trying to get this on the way back in. I've missed. If I get 49, 40s to 50s again, that's where I want to reload on that Uber trade. Talking about Ocugen, I mean, obviously, there was a quick little shot in there as I was trying to mention that 1065, aftermarket little bottom. it just tested it. It rolled over very, very quickly, so I was trying to catch it in the 40s. I did not chase it. Clearly, if you did, you're still in a bit of a winning trade to the south side. But watch out for this little cluster here at about just below $10, at about $9.85 to $9.95. If it gets into that range, I'm going to look for a bit of a buy on Occugen. Call it like $9.95 to 10 even. I'd let that 10 even break and still give it a shot for a bit of a bounce play. The short, that's come and gone, so I missed it. I'm not going to go short again at that price.
Okay, so there goes Rocket. We are going to be out in a second here. It didn't go down that far. It only went down a couple pennies through 19, so we held that. But, I mean, we told you it would probably break that 19. A nice little bounce off of that spot. So maybe here, because we can, I don't know, we'll get a little bit out here at 13s if we can. 13's 4th. Yeah, see, that's not going to go. I was just thinking that bounce off of that 19 may have given us an ability to get out, because I didn't even want to see that 19 today. The fact that we did there, it just gave me like 20 cents free money there, because we should have got out on that break. I was waiting for a little bit lower. Thank God we didn't get touched. But I consider this like one of Neil's sayings, they're like, this is almost like a gift horse here, because you're waiting for that to break again, and any pop up, I think I need to try to get out now. So let's see if that 19 does hold. We are waiting at the low of the day to get out, though. That's 18.95. So we're going to wait there and see if that does come through. Moderna bouncing around, not doing much. There's that Uber short. So now we're into this Uber short. A level of concern, obviously, 50. 49.50 as well could break, and if that breaks, then we'll be gone, and then we'll relook at this one. But right now, we are holding on to the short on Uber as well, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just got reloaded, so it gave you that 49, and it just bounced back up into the 30. So rinse and repeat that price action. Fastly, you said low of the day, and Fastly just made a fresh one here, breaking
really?
that 46. It actually pressed into, 48.40. It looks like. Look, I suppose on Fastly today, you might have to play the short side of the trade. Whoops. Let's see if we can't zoom back in here. You might have to play the short side of the trade if it can come back in off that 47.50. I'm not sure with the momentum I saw in that break that this is going to continue in the next couple of minutes without any kind of a pullback. So that's going to be my first look. But I got to go back and got to watch this Uber here, guys, because look at that spike. Look at that spike right into this 50 area. I don't want to average in unless it's failing at 50. Should have maybe taken more shares off when it kept holding that 49 over and over again. Could have scalped some more off for some more wins. Instead, there's a little bit of a roll here, or at least it's trying to roll over at 49.75 or so. But 50 is that big test on Uber. I like them, but I'm trying to short them today.
Yeah, Uber, it's coming up to that 50 level. We'll see. Maybe that was a little bit of a, let's just take a couple hundred shares there, short and see what happens. If it does take out, I'm just going to hold it to that high of the day again. And if we break it now, I'm going to wait till 50. If we break that 50, we'll get out. But we just put on a position right now on Uber. So let's wait to see if it does go through. And if it does, man, it'll blast through. So make sure that you have your right stop orders in for UBER here. Again, this was small. We got taken out there, so it's a losing trade. But this thing just retraces back down because of the shares that we took. We'll be able to make this all back, but still waiting for that top. Not a great morning there on some of these calls. And this is what we were talking about. Like I told you at the open that I wasn't super excited about what we were looking at here for today. So DraftKings down another 3 or 4%. They got to hurry up and report, man, because DraftKings right now just getting killed. DKNG down again, another, wow, $55 cracking right now. Bye-bye, Uber. Let's go to the downside. Uber now. Ooh, how far did that go? I just got lit up there. I was nicely in the money there, and then I should take some out. So we're going to do that. What's up, B?
So many things to look at, guys. Wayfair, another one that reported ripping here, almost 10% to the upside. This is $300 right here. So we're coming up to 300 on Wayfair, guys.
Okay.
So it's. I'm not saying it's a bit of a squeeze because the volume isn't that gigantic. Remember, there was that Citron report positive on that Root, which is the mobile insurance company there. It's up about 11% so far after earnings. If this one starts to accelerate, there is a decent short interest on Root, and you kind of look at some of these levels here for some breakouts potentially. Like I'm looking at like 11.70 to the upside. If it comes back and retests the 10.50 where it was at the close, I'd also look for maybe a bit of a buy dip there. The momentum's in, the volume is actually pretty decent. Got to put that on the radar if we're going to be watching it. And then run, I want to rinse and repeat, but go back to the one. I want to rinse and repeat, but you start having to think about the fact that it couldn't break that 46 with any gusto. So we got the good longs off of that 45. Now we're playing off of the low of the day, which means a couple of things. Get yourself a better price, be patient in front of 44, and then make sure I'm taking some out in front of that previous pre-market high. So I'm still looking at 50 to a dollar cent, 50 cent to like a dollar area winners for the scalp trade. And then if 44 breaks, we'll have to run to the exits. I missed Uber up there. I don't know what price you got on. I was sort of waiting a little bit. Oh, actually, I was trying to catch it on the turn at the 70s. It is trying to trade back down below that 50 range. I'm still holding off on adding that position, and I will cover some in front of 49 because there's someone buying at that price. Might as well get us some of the shorts in front of it.
Yep, agreed. So we are short, and we're just been cashing out. We're 30 cents now in the money on Uber. So we're cashing out, and I don't know. I still think we have a lot lower to go. We're out of 40% of our trade now on Uber. We took some 50s there. Our best out is 42, and here we come crashing to the downside. Let's put another bid, guys. Like, let's put a bid low 30s if we can here on this name. I like it. You guys know that. So let's wait to see here what Uber wants to do to the downside now. There we go. We just got that. Like, look at this crash, guys. Beautiful trade. Like, so glad that we just literally took triple the shares that we had. Triple the shares that we had on this move. We just took right there. And that's what it is, man. We talk about keeping it real. That's keeping it real. We told you guys the share size that we took. There it is. We're cashed out. We are positive, hella positive now on Uber, guys. Good trade. Hope you were able to hold out for that 50 level. What's up, B?
This isn't going to look like much, but this is a big range for Fastly, guys. Still pushing lows, although we just kind of bounced here off of 45.80. So moving back to the upside, more than a $3.50 range so far for FSLY.
So big retracement in that NMRD. I know you guys are watching this one, trying to test VWAP here at like 1375 or so. There was also this level in the pre-market at 1334, 1340, let's call it. I think that's where you almost have to think about your stopping. If it tested actually the 70s, I probably would have added again, but I just got long at that 14 range. Looking at that 70s for maybe another re-entry point. Got to give to like that 1340, as I said. Even if it comes back to, like that 1450 area, call it like 15, somewhere in that target range, you got to take some profit. It might not push a fresh high, but a nice little VWAP bouncing. It's been a runner, and the volume has been good to the upside here. So going to get involved in that NMRD. I did miss out on a bit of a rollover. I don't think it was the easiest one to catch at all, but this one's going to be worth the trade. It's doing a ton of volume, and you're seeing it crush through. I just took some shares out in front of that 49 at Uber, and continuing. It just continues to hold that price. So there's somebody buying up there. I'm going to try to hold through a break of 49. I'm not adding. That LKCO, it's getting to the point where I'm going to start considering the termination of the trade at that 150. It's almost fully rolled over. It's now 26 pennies in the money. I don't know how much further it's going to go. I'll throw a bid in front of 150 because if you get 30 cents on a $1.80 stock, you really should be taking it. Do not look a gift horse in the mouth on this. It might even bounce off the 150 mark, in my opinion.
Guys, my two biggest trades, remember, I talk about that. For me, it doesn't matter long or short. We're going either way here. We just took 80 cents right there on Uber, guys, on the short. My two biggest trades today. Moderna short, $5 win. Uber now 80 cents in the money to the short side. The longs actually have been the ones that haven't really worked. I mean, MITO's been great. We are literally have, as my kid says, literally have 10% of this trade left. We were waiting for it to moon. It didn't. We took out more here than maybe we had wanted to on that trade. So I was feeling bad about getting some out there at 30 when we were ripping to 50. I thought we were going to break that. But now, pretty happy that we don't have much on board here for MITO. So that's a trade there. We're looking to get longer in Ford actually very, very soon. Looks like we probably will. The Dow hit record highs yesterday, guys. So industrial's working out. People ask us, what are we going to do about this market crashing? I repeat, the Dow hit record highs yesterday. So let's wait to see if Ford can help carry that through the rest of the day. We are going to load up a little bit on Ford if it does get into this 1150 area, which it's there right now. So it's almost load up time, guys, on F. That's it for me right here. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
I just had a volume alert here on Starbucks, but not a heck of a lot to see. Did come back into yesterday's support here just before the open, but Starbucks testing 114, guys.
That'll make Miss V happy, who is at the big screen right now.
Hey guys, Root Insurance is up around 9%. Company reported earnings this week. Do you see any opportunities for yourself in ROOT or OT?
Well, the answer, of course, is yes. We're just talking about this. At the end of the show, we were mentioning there was a Citron report, and it was not a short report. Actually, they were mentioning the heavy short interest, how that stock had been beaten up. Here's the caveat. This is one of the worst performing sort of recent listings. Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot that are at the lows, but I mean, in terms of percentage base and how it only went to the downside and sort of heavily shorted by institutions. That's why I think you sort of look for that potential squeeze on a decent earnings report, and that's why we talked about it here. It hasn't extended this move, and I'm still going to sit here in front of that 1050 area and look for a bit of a bid. I'm going to throw it in here now just so I can catch it. If there is a dip, I think there could be a secondary push. Obviously, it's a pure momentum play against some short interest there. And wow, is Uber really, and forget about Uber, that NMRD, which tried that bounce, did not go. And a lot of times I'll be short these, but when I miss out on the short, I got to look for that price action. It makes the VWAP break. There was no end in sight. If there had been any support at that level that I like, 1340, trust me, I would have been trying to get some more shares on a quick little bounce there. Gonna have to flip to a bit of a negative Nancy on this stock if it tries to retest that 1450 area. So NMRD, all these crazy dark pool wicks, just sort of ignore them. I think the real trade action should be around that 1450, more because it's that pre-market high area, and when it tries to retest, I want to be on the short side of it.
Like, guys, Uber right now, like, let's just go. Let's go with this, man. Let's hit the chicken dinner winner. This is the kind of stuff that we're doing all day, guys. Nice win here. Uber, $1 now in the money. $1 now in the money on triple the shares. So we have triple the shares here that we did right here. See ya, Uber. So there it goes right to the downside. Really glad that we reversed that one, obviously. I mean, you know what? Forget this. Taking some out. Bang! There it is, a smooth dollar as we ride the bears today, guys. We turn bearish. Very, very easy to do on a day like today. We've seen, look at this. Wow. I mean, just super. So $1.14, $1.20 now in the money on this trade. I guess I got out too early on that part. Let's keep going to the south side here. UBER. What up, B?
All right, 2 days in a row here, we asked, what's strong? Market not doing a heck of a lot. Banks, guys, leading as far as strength is concerned. This up here for Goldman today, 362.57, all-time highs, 2 days in a row, all-time highs for GS.
Yeah, I'm going to use that low of the day, and again, the low of the day is actually 48.10. I'm going to use that for an out for myself on Uber. If it comes back and retests that 49, that was a price that I originally liked, so I want to be able to short the pop as long as it's going to show me that weakness. Going to be down to two, still have that LKCO, which of course has been fine to the short side, and then Sunrun, which has had no bounce. The market's going to come down. Yes, it was strong. Yes, it's given a couple of nice little winning trades, but now you're consolidating off the low. I did get some more shares, so we're able to pick some up at 44.30 or so. If it gets back up to VWAP, I'll take some out in front just so I can maybe rinse and repeat at the bottom end of that range. Nikola, which we did mention off the top, there was positive news. They got a letter they got a letter of intent with regards to a 100 truck order. Yeah, and of course it fades right back in here, guys. Look at this little double bottom forming at 1070. If this goes, I'll cross my fingers and short Nikola, although every time I try to short it, it seems like that's when Nikola wants to make its run.
Okay, Palantir. So we are trying this Palantir. Wow, I'm just like amazed at this Uber trade. Like, this is just like, thank you so much. Oh, here, I'm going to hit the stock logos thing and see if this actually works. Where's my stock logos? It worked earlier, but I had to hit it like 5 times. Yeah, not the first time, not the second time, the third time. Nope, not the third time. The 4th time, nope, I don't see it. The 5th time, there it is, 5 times. You got to hit that, boys. We'll run the Uber. There it is. We're hailing a ride today, but now Ubers will be free for a while as we just cash out there on UBER. There goes Rocket, man. What? Okay, I want to go long here on Rocket. I don't know what. Oh yeah, that was that offer that we had to get out of a little bit of our shares there. So we did on that bounce back. I was actually looking to go long Rocket off this 1920 break. It just broke through 19s. My order missed. I wanted to go long. I thought I was clicking over to Rocket to see that I was long. Order missed there, so we'll cancel that right now, and then we'll look to see 1920 break, right back to the downside. Yeah, see? So that's what I'm talking about. If you don't get that 19 break upside, which I didn't, I missed it, I don't know what happened there, it must have just took off, then I don't want it on the way back down, right? So, but that's a good bottom though, 1870. You know what, maybe we will test a little bit of a long here on Rocket if we can get it around this 19 level. Let's stick a small bid there and see what happens. Oh, Palantir, we're trying it right now, in and out there at 2070. That was small at 2085. Now we're large on it. Don't have a problem telling you guys, what positions we're actually in. So let's see. I'm going to hit the big stick here for you if we can. If it breaks, the reason why very, very easy on this one, man. We have our 2050 level, right? So if that breaks, we'll get out. Obviously, we're not going to be negative on the day if that happens, but that's my play right now. Let's see if Palantir can go. We're long at 67, so it's 8 cents out right now.
I saw a few people mentioning home in the chat. Now, I don't have the reason for the halt, but I do know there was deal speculation, the possibility that the buyout could be announced this morning. And that could be the reason for the halt. I don't even see a notification on that NASDAQ trade halts page, but it just put one in. It's been 15 minutes, so I'm assuming that this is going to be news pending. When we get some news on that, I'll let you guys know what I do find, if anything. Right now, it's essentially doing a 15-minute halt. It was moving off the open here to the downside before reversing field. Speaking of reversing field, if I get out in front of the low of the day, it's usually because I'm trying to get a bounce that hasn't happened just yet. Uber's still testing fresh lows, so continues its flush. Brendan?
I was just checking it was 9:45, I guess. It is Hellman and Friedman, $2.8 billion deal for At Home Group, so that's done. Looks like 36 per share in cash for At Home, guys.
Yeah, so my 2 cents would be if you're holding the bag on this and you had this one at like 36.50 and you're going to get a cash deal at 36, there's not a heck of a lot of reason to hold through any reopen of the stock. I mean, the upside there should be relatively limited. It might even be worth a bit of a short, in my opinion. When it opens back up, I might be looking at that short.
Okay, so so there it goes, man. We keep on trying the same crap on this stock, and it just keeps on not working. So Palantir again breaks, and then we went back long on the break again, back through 50. So I'm just going to be dancing with this one here. We're going to get out again if it goes down another 10 cents. We're going to get out of this name as Palantir. Like the NASDAQ can't get out of its own way, right? You know that I like Palantir long if the NASDAQ goes, but right now it's not doing that. We do have some daily lows here on Palantir hitting right now, 2045. So let's see if the NASDAQ can bounce back. We have the low. We're long at the low now. If it doesn't break, then if it breaks downside, that's well worth the risk. You know we like this name for a long. Let's just hope Miss Wood tweets something out that she's buying like 500 million shares right now or something, and then we can get that win. But what's up, Brandon?
That would be an interesting number.
Truckloads of shares. Pizza here, Papa John's, another one that reported in the pre-market here. Nice move back to day highs, through 101 there for pizza, guys.
And just looking at Etsy here, now down 13%. It's getting, look, Etsy's getting pretty close towards that 150, 155. If 160 can go here, and this is the actual, right here, the even is the low of the day. If it can break through that 160, which of course it's short sell restricted, so you can't even get that fill. I'll be looking for a test of 155. That was the level we wanted to be able to defend. So didn't think this would necessarily happen that fast, yet here we are on Etsy. And as good as it was off of the open, there's sun run through the low of the day. So the first longs are going to be good, and the second longs, well, I guess the third and fourth longs will not be as well. You got to have a bit of an out. Even this name on strong earnings couldn't hold that recovery. So the solar space, once again, disappointing on any kind of a follow through, guys.
And I'm so glad. Like, our day would be just a nightmare if we didn't. I mean, not a nightmare. We're winning. It's just, well, I mean, no, forget it. I forget about Moderna. Moderna was huge. But yeah, Uber right now, like, this was just a monster trade here. We still have a piece, man. It's at 48 and cracking. So, I mean, Uber right now, we still have this piece. We're $1.63 in the money on UBER right now. And again, like, that was the thing. We talked about this short 49. We had to hold it out for about 60 cents. We got out, man. We got out, and then we just got right back in. So that Uber trade is now $1 plus in the money. Our mRNA, we took $6 on that one. We're out of that now, and we're just waiting. Basically, my whole day, it's not my whole day, but Palantir, it's the largest position I have on right now. I actually have more shares in Ford right now, but just as far as risk, because it's a $20 stock, is Palantir. More share. This is my largest position. It's going to come out right now. If it breaks back down, there it is. Yep, so there it is. So we're out now. Palantir, there it goes, breaks down lower. So that was, I just told you, that was my largest position so far on the day there on Palantir. But for a 10-cent hit, well worth it. Not worth it, whatever, we lost. But well worth the risk profile there for me. I thought we could have gone back up there. We tested it at 50, it breaks 40, so we get out. Hey, it's a dime. We're down now on Palantir. Thanks to the audience for bringing that name to my attention. I do like it still. And if you look at, oh yeah, you know what we got to talk about? We got to talk about NEO at some point as well. I'm going to do that in a minute.
Quickly, Peloton is on the move back to the upside, maybe getting a little bit of recovery off of this 79 bottom, I guess, at the open. It's getting close to that 85 range now. In the afternoon, 85 was a top. There was a better high here off of like 86 even, but that's going to be the target zone for me. And I did say, you know, if it breaks into that 83 area, my first shot would be shorting in front of that 85. And then if we held that 82.50 to 83 area, then I could turn into a bit of a bull. Of course, I still maintain they did the right thing here, but the first look is going to be to the short side, fading into some Peloton. Viacom, no breakout, obviously, because it only had to the downside. I don't see any support levels on Viacom yet. I still like the long if this market can catch a bid, but I'll be fading into this Peloton in front of 85. And then, of course, yesterday's afternoon, I guess, top there was about 86 even, so that would be the out.
Okay, I'm buying more and more here on Palantir, and again, it's because I just want to play it into the 20. So it's the shares. Oops, I'm on the wrong side. Oh yeah, Uber 48.11. That breaks, we're gone. So just give you guys a little bit of an update. Oh, I was just talking about buying Palantir at the bottom here. So what I've done is I've just looked back here, and if you see the daily chart on Palantir, this has already happened before on one of these crashes. It was right here. I remember that day quite clearly. Everything crashed. I think that's the day that NEO went to $34 as well. That bottom is 2021 right there. So $20.21 or so. We're right into that now. So I think this is, again, worth another long into 2020, into 20. So like I said, man, we're here to make some money. This is well worth it. Now you can see my long now is 41. Let's see if it holds off of that level, and we'll see about making some of that money back. Uber still $1.70 in the money. OCGM, MITO. We talked about we were a little sad on not getting out on that one. Now it's back up to 240. I think this is worth getting out now around this range. So that's that. And by the way, we are getting more Ford, and that looks like it may want to break. We just got a 52 long, but that's right where it is. So 52 long, you can see our average price now 54. So let's go Ford back to the upside. Hopefully the market can rebound here. Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at how we are doing so far. Unfortunately, not too good. Brazil's positive, so there's that, but everything else not great. The Dow 0.08, the S&P 0.3 to the downside. The NASDAQ 100 about 0.5%. You can see down here the composite 0.7% to the downside. The Russell 0.5%. The TSX here in Toronto 0.5% to the downside as well. Let's have a look at a couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. Fastly, first off, I mentioned was struggling down here around 45, still kind of pushing lows. Just wanted to show the volume here as well, if you can see it. Yeah, it's pretty visible. Yesterday compared to today's volume, just massive volume. At these levels going off for Fastly here on the daily chart, 22%. We'll shift over one more time and have a look at Viacom all the way back to here. At least when I walked over here it was. Now we're beyond that. Still falling, guys, for ViaC. Back over to you.
Yeah, no bounce in sight for that Viacom. Now I'm looking to see if I can catch something. I got a little bit more shares there on that on Peloton. Of course, I was going to talk about home. I know you guys were mentioning it was opening upside, but got to look at the trades that were in here. I got more shares when it tried to get through 85. Talking Peloton here, when it tried to get through 85 and failed, I take those out in front of 84. Average price right here at 84.75 or so, well, 72. If it bounces down to 83, you do have VWAP looming at 82.5 and 83. We talked about that. If it can hold there, you can actually turn me into a bit of a bull on the session on Peloton, but I was going to do that rollover trade. Had to wait for it to happen off of the open to push to the upside. Very similar to, I guess, Uber. Well, not similar to Uber, because Uber went up right away. Peloton grinding back to the upside. I wish those dark pool prints are real, because then I would be out in front of VWAP. That hasn't happened yet. For now, Peloton is about 70 cents in the money. That home, oops, there you go. Home did open back up. It is to the high side there. So, I mean, I saw 36 in cash. I want to double check just to make sure there isn't any kind of a special dividend or anything along those lines that would cause it to trade above. I don't necessarily expect there's going to be any kind of bidding war. It is worth noting when this speculation happened, it did settle down below 37. Now, you would think this would be a bit of a disappointment, but it is trading as if there is some kind of a special dividend or maybe even some crazy like call buying. I have to check in to see if there's a legitimate reason for it to be holding above a cash price.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to pay attention here to some of these trades that we have on as well. Palantir, we're averaging into this one all the way down to that level that we talked about, that 20 level. So that's going to be coming in hopefully not soon, but we are going to wait to see on that one. That is Palantir. took some bids down, 35. So if we can get out, we'll get out, but I still like this trade up into the 50s and then up even in here into VWAP, especially if the market bounces. I do got to go back over to some of the names that we crush on the regular, like a Microsoft, something like that. Wow, Fastly's still down. What did we write down for Fastly? We wrote down short 49s. Let's take a look. I know it's at 44 now. I just want to see, did we miss the opportunity to get those 49s? No. So unless you had it, I mean, yes, we did, I guess. Yeah, 48.50, that should have been good enough for me. We are waiting, that's unbelievable. As I check my order, we were waiting at 48.69 there. So that's a $4 miss because we were 20 cents higher than where it went. So missed opportunity there, but Fastly now just continues to go down. No end in sight for this name. $45, yuck. Not good, man. You can get a break back to the upside, but the thing about it is we've tried Rocket on an upside break again as well. Thank God we took a little bit out there, but we're still holding that. And Rocket right back down to this 1880 level. This may be worth it here, 1893 on a break back to the upside. Like, we're just trying to play some rebounds here. Oh yeah, let's barbecue up some profits at $1.55 there. And I mean, now Uber's coming right back where we got out. So we just got out of Uber there. We let it go down a little bit for us there, but that's a $1.50 win. So as I said, man, things working out quite nicely for us so far today, but we still need work to be done, man. And that is Ford and that is Palantir, two names that I'm looking to rebound to the high side here if the market can get going. That's the two ones that I'm sort of laying my day with right now, Palantir and Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for a couple of longs and tried them out to mixed success there. And only in the shorts now, obviously, of the Peloton, the LKCO. But LEDS, I can't even count the halts. I think it's halted at least a couple of times here. And another one to the upside, up 50%. This was a bit of a mover yesterday. I mean, nowhere near what you're seeing in today's action. Just watch out. It can get very thinly traded and has had some trouble in the past sometimes with these multiple halts. If I look for usually about the same type of reopen trade, that's going to be, can we actually open lower? I like the $8 range here because you get 822 at the top. Can you open lower than that $8 range? Give yourself about an 820, 822 out, short like a 780, like a 790, something along those lines. If it opens above 850, I would throw that out the window. If it opens close to where it closed, that 822, then you can sort of put that trade on only if it absolutely dies. I actually just finally got my first trade into Moderna. Let's go to Brendan for some news.
This one popped up a couple days ago, still trying to test these highs, I guess. Big five, guys, BGFV got to all-time highs yesterday afternoon. We're testing that level right now, 2640, 2650 area for BGFV.
Yeah, shout out to Sterling Silver. He crushed that one in the afternoon, that big five trade. Now, I said, oh, that's MindMed still on my board for some reason next to Moderna. Whatever, I haven't traded in a little bit, but either way, it's there. Going into the afternoon in yesterday's action, if you want to look at Moderna, certainly you had that bottom here. That's at 150. We'll call it 157. I know it's like 156.80 or so, and then you had this like little, I guess, rebound price to 156. That's what I was shorting off of. I got 54.77 as the first entry price. I'll take some more shares as it tests towards yesterday's bottoms, and then this is my first one. I only wanted to fade into it at that particular price. Once the 150 had already broken, and regrettably, look, it's going to happen to you. You can miss out on that great level. Once it broke, I look for the next trade, shorting this little pop, and it's a big pop. It's about $8 to the upside. Peloton, now only 40 cents in the money. Looks like it held that 84 range for the time being. Let's see if it can't continue to flush. It is reversing off of some levels from yesterday, similar to the Moderna trade, where they both had negative news and looking to sell that bounce.
Oh my God, what are you short at? Like, God damn it. I'm missing so many opportunities, man. Like that 83 level was a mark here for us on Peloton. We talked about that. Go 83 for long. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Hopefully you guys are following a little bit better on my trades than I am. Anyways, good short, Neil, as it's coming back to the downside now with Peloton. So good trade there for sure.
The funny thing is, remember, my out is like, if it holds 83, I want to flip to bear side on that trade. And again,
you're bearish now, aren't you?
No, sorry, a bull side.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm just so used to saying bear. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. Again, all of my trades today, the big ones, guys, the spicy ones. Well, although MITO was really spicy, that was a nice win to the long side as well. But we've had Moderna short, and we could talk about that. My largest stock by far today, this Moderna short. We had 7% left there for flat, but there we go. That's a 146 and then a 144.50 there. As now Moderna turns upside, and again, we did talk about taking Moderna, through that 152 area, and we didn't do it again. So that's another missed opportunity. But what we're doing right now is celebrating. So here we go. So our average price 34. That's how you know. I got questions the other day about how do you average in? Where do you put? When this is coming down to 25, that's my biggest trade right there, 32, right? So now we see if this has legs to the upside. I still hold out for 50s. Let's see if the NASDAQ can go. No idea what's going to happen with the market. I talked about that earlier, that I didn't like the NASDAQ, what it was doing in the pre-market. If you remember, it was 928 or something. And I said, I don't know, man. I'm very, very jittery about today. So we hit that huge Uber trade, $1.50 in the money. A huge Moderna. These were both shorts, remember. So I got to put that up here, because if you're noticing, and we talk about this all the time, studying your trades, look back at how your day was, how did it play out? What were your winners? What were your losers? What were you thinking when you were in those trades? And again, the short today, cash money on all my trades, my whole day are those shorts right now. So that's a good one. I mean, this is pending, as here we go. We are getting excited because now we are nicely in the money. Another 15 cents on this one. OCGN, 15 cents now in the money, guys. MITO, we took that out. We are now flat on MITO. What a great break that was. And here we go again. Let's go. We missed that 50. I was on NASDAQ Gateway. So now I got to switch that up and take something that's free, because we want to make sure we get printed here. Come on. Oh man, it just missed 50 again. We got to get some out here on Palantir, but what a good trade. This turns out, there we go. We just took some out at 47. I'm going to cancel my 50 now. Let it blow right through here, hopefully. Blow through 50. Let's go, guys. 15 cents in the money here, and a big trade happening, hopefully, for me on Ford. We loaded up again ahead of 1150. So let's go Ford, guys. We're long at 54.
So there was a go shop on that home, I guess, deal at 36. I'm gonna fade it a little bit here, guys, but I want to go back over to Peloton because it's finding some resistance. I keep saying resistance because I'm just so used to it. It's finding some support, I should say, above that 83 range, and it's right here, 83.80 or so. And I apologize for those wicks. Trust me when I tell you, it is about this 83.75 to 83.80. I've been resisting taking any more shares off. I think it's a little bit of a hubris, the right word? I think it's maybe being stubborn to not take some off around 84 again if I can. I still like the short at this price range as long as we're holding those levels from yesterday, but I probably should have had some off in that 83.75 range. I did not get the re-entry when Moderna just failed there at 156. I'll try to pick up the rest of my shares at that particular price in front of yesterday's low, but you're seeing Peloton not even get to that 83 on the retrace and showing some strength, so should have taken more shares out for that profit. Brendo, what's up, bud?
Another little one that can get going when it wants to. Eyes just popping up here on volume, 3%. You remember this thing went all the way to 26 and change going back a couple weeks ago. Some volume coming in on the buy side here for Eyes, guys.
Eyes, okay. AMC has a V. Look, guys, I sit here and actually, thank you, Brian, for that. I try to read these and try to see if there's any sort of trading tips. I did that I put a tweet out yesterday thanking you guys because, without some of the help and some of these names that we keep on getting from you, we wouldn't, be able to take some advantages that we are in some of these markets because we don't have everything. Brendan's fantastic, obviously, but it takes more than that sometimes to catch all of the trades. We don't expect to catch everything, but when we do, we like to celebrate them. So good, thank you so much for that one. Ford, that's what we're looking at right now. We just took some 57s there, so that's turning out to be a decent trade, looking like anyways. Again, long here, 54. So good trade. We started here, we got out. Not good if you held that. We averaged some 55s there to see if that holds. It does not. And then we put on the big load here at 53. So still waiting to see if that can hold it. Not sure if it's going to. That's Ford right now. So we are getting some out, eagerly getting some out at these levels now, guys. What's up, Brendan?
Yet another earnings name, WW, just breaking through day highs here on volume, 32%. They reported, I think it was aftermarket actually yesterday, a little bit better than expected on the earnings for WW, coming back to big levels over here on the daily chart, guys.
So I guess it's bad if I don't refer to them as WW. Whatever. I'll conform for that one, even though I find it weird. I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what the deal was, or not with that home before I got into the short. I could have had it, and I wanted to fade. If it opened above, I wanted to fade the stock above that deal price of 36. There is a go shop, but there is no special dividend, so I don't take it till it rolls over to the pre-market high at 36.60. I got 56. I just scalped them out for 20 cents. Look, this is a buyout. Even though it's moving around a little bit, like it's still a cash buyout. At the end of the day, you have to take profits and scalp it. That's the only way to trade those, unless you get an outsized move, which has not happened yet. mRNA, and we talk about having a plan of action. Stick to the plan. Don't be Leroy Jenkins out here, right? So, you missed that first opportunity. Sean had a great look off the open for the short. I had a different look. Instead of chasing missed opportunities or chasing, someone else's fantastic trade, I just wait around for that, I guess, retest of that 155, 156. It's now starting to slide down. Oh, that's not a bid I wanted in here, so let's get that out of the way. 154, I've taken some shares out in front of it. The next leg down, I think at 153, and then 152, where there was a bit of a cluster, and it's hard to see because of all those deep prints all the way down here, but there was a cluster at that 152. That's another good area for some take profits on Moderna. You have to let it move around a little bit. I think you can start taking profits at $1.50, but you have to start thinking about $2, $3, $4, $5, of course, when the stock has a range in the pre-market of 20. Now, since the open, we're talking about a $13 range, so that's sort of overstated a little bit, but $13 range is the big one.
Okay, so this is why, we were just talking about Palantir there and taking some out. So we have 1 out, 2 outs, 3 outs, 4 outs. Like, we took some out there at 50 when it wasn't breaking. I mean, that was pretty much as clear as day. But where's my other bids? I have a buy at 20. Oh, it didn't hit 26 yet? I thought it did. Okay, I have a bid at 26 now. So you know what? Maybe I'll just take some shares right now on Palantir, not even wait for that 26. So there we go. We take some 29s there. Like, again, it comes literally down to 26 again, and I don't get filled, but here it comes. It's going to get filled now. So let's go. Get me some 26s. We're waiting on that 25. We're not even going to get out now. We're still waiting. Like, I'm going to lose a lot of money on this one if it does break back down below 20. So that is what it is. I'm going to be averaging in even more to this trade coming up soon. And, the run that I've been on lately, it's fine. We can obviously withstand a sort of a hit here. So if it comes down, it comes down. I'm loading up, guys, near 20. So you're going to see an average price change dramatically if this thing gets down to $20. And then I have a feeling it probably breaks, but let's just wait to see. Like, I want to take the risk. There's a big size there at 20. Let's see if it's there. 5,000 shares. So that's times 100. So we got excuse me, 500,000 shares worth of bid there. So let's just wait to see what Palantir does on the downside. And then a good thing, we took out a little bit of Ford, as that looks like it also wants to break back down below 50. The market has no love right now.
Nope.
NASDAQ straight down, ES straight down. Should have just, I guess, held the Uber. Where's that at right now? Yeah, 47.50.
Yeah.
So this was the biggest trade there. You heard me talk, and I only said hundreds of shares, but you heard me talk up here, 49.63. But damn it. Should have held that one, and we would have made our day easily not easily, but we would have made our day a little bit at least on that trade with Uber. But Brendan, small cap recap. Take it away, bud.
All right, guys, busy morning. Let's jump right into a few things that were moving around in small cap world. I wanted to find something that was small cap-ish in the vaccine kind of game. So VXRT fits that bill down in the pre-market here. After the negative news yesterday surrounding the entire group. This one ends up being pretty sleepy. It is starting to come back to the downside here, but you can see volume already dying off on Vaxart. Some of the other ones, Moderna, BNTX, I noticed starting to bounce a little bit, so heads up. Vaxart, though, still more than 10% to the downside. Let's go over to MITO. This one gave you two-way action this morning. Tried the short here off the open. That was wrong, obviously. Very, very strong. But the long, a great opportunity here. I actually flipped short, caught the short on the way back down. So we'll see what happens now. 240 to 250 on this MITO, the levels I'm watching. One more to talk about here. ALF, thank you to you guys. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I completely missed this one because it was such a busy morning. Man, these dark prints are in full effect today. If you missed the initial move, don't be afraid to wait for a bit of a consolidation or pullback. So it did give you a secondary push here down through 4. It's still day lows right now, but 470, pretty good level to work off there on ALF. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, you'll be good luck. Well, I mean, good luck for the shorts, I suppose. And you're trying to hang on to some here, but we did take some profits on Moderna. We talked about that 53, so you're going to get that like $2.50 scalp already, $2.50, I should say. And then if it holds to this consolidation area, it was a very, very brief one. And I know it's hard to see because of the dark pools, but 151, that's the next level out. I'll take that $4 if we can get it. The other short that's working out is going to be, of course, Peloton. Now, I moved a bit up here after we retested 85 with the full intention of, hey, we fail off 85 again, I'll roll into some more shares. I did miss that one to the downside while sort of engaging in that trade in Moderna. That's still in the money, but the trend is still upside here on Peloton. So as much as it's working, gotta watch out a little bit with that. And I'm still holding LKCO. Look, and the stock can't get out of its own way. I'm bidding in front of that 155. For now, it's holding 160. You got to go all the way back into the pre-market when I was shorting at 186. Let's see the entry point. It just hasn't given you another one. It's just been all short and then only sliding to the downside with no end in sight. I just noticed this when one of you guys was pointing it out there. That's Coinbase right now. Down to 257. The reference price is 250. If it sees the 250 reference price, original reference price, and of course, that doesn't mean as much as when you had that initial IPO price defended by the underwriters. However, I would expect to see a bit of a bid down there. If there isn't a day trade at 250, I will be absolutely shocked on Coinbase. So if it gets any lower, you're going to probably see me enter into a long position. I'll try to show you the level 2 in case there's a big buyer. On the off chance that it gets to 250, it's not there yet, but it just dropped $18 off the open. Brendo.
I'm not even sure if this matters anymore, but the stock is moving, so I'll tell you. Citron Research, guys, talking about Jumaya Technologies. Remember, Citron is no longer negative. They only talk about positive things. So they're talking about Jumaya here on the upside, so we can see nice little pop here for JMIA on that, guys.
Yeah, good name, and that name's been beat down a little bit, obviously, Jumaya. Okay, talk about getting beat down. We just got out of our Ford there. So losing trade today, I still think, obviously, there's some upside, but I've hitched my wagon now. I guess I can cancel. I guess I don't have any Ford upside anyways. I've hitched my wagon out of PLTR. So damn it, Ford, now you want to go back up? Like we were just logged 53s there. We want to get up 48s, and then now it's back to 52. So we could try it one more time. You know what? Maybe we will try one more time here on Ford. See if we can't get some bids there. We'll take a little small piece at 52. We'll wait for some 51s, and then we'll see if it does take, there it is, we get 51s there. We'll see if it does take that 47 one more time. Just in case the market does bounce up here, we do have Ford on board. I like it, but again, negative today. Had a big run, yes, not a big run, but it had a decent run yesterday. This is where we were long yesterday, 42. We enjoyed it all the way back up to 64. So let's see now if we can't make the same thing back. If we can get up to VWAP though, like 58, 59, that's probably worth taking here on what's been a little bit of a struggle here for Ford, as now it's coming back down. So we're not in this heavy, but we have a few shares that we do have to worry about it. I didn't get my bid on Palantir because it was lower than this, so we're still waiting. But right now my average price is 30. If this goes, then it's party time. But if it doesn't, then it's not party time. I was going to say something more negative, but we'll wait to see here on Palantir, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you could say I was trying to find it because there's a key for what I was trying to get to, and I can't seem to find it. So I'm going to go with a bullseye, and why not? What I was looking for is that I thought there was an alley-oop one, Sean, because I couldn't find it on my board. Anyways, we'll probably have this in common where Moderna is going to be the best for each of us today. Now, it's a different trade. I was going to make reference to, if you guys have ever seen Grant Hill to Christian Leitner for the game-winning shot, I'm not making this crap up. Sean and I pulled that off in high school for a game-winning shot. Anyways, I was going to do that. Moderna is bouncing, however, off of VWAP. I'm not a bull on the stock today. However, it is, you can't really ignore. I mean, this kind of a flush, holding 143, now holding VWAP here. There is a chance that this could turn into, if it's the one thing that's going to hold up and start to turn into a bit of a strong trade, maybe off this 150 is going to be it. I'm not quite there yet. I should be thinking that with Peloton. It was at that 83 I was considering. I'm going to take this. Look, I'm actually going to take this out probably in front of like 83.35 to 50 and only look for now like on the last entry point like $1.50 instead of $2 because it doesn't seem to want to test this 83. I don't care how many dark pools you see down here. It is not really breaking this 83.75. That's why I keep saying that price. Someone was buying Peloton when it held that 82 and obviously when it broke that 83. But now someone's buying it at 83.75. So somebody sees the value. Clearly, the short has made money. but it doesn't look as good as it did about 15 minutes ago. So I have to consider both tightening my stop. I'm going to actually throw it back at 85 here. If it takes 85 again, it's likely to run, and then move up my bid to the mid 83s here and not VWAP.
Okay, so someone said, what's going on with cannabis stocks today? Like, I mean, the same thing as always, man. I mean, these stocks are literally on fire to the downside. They're getting lit on fire today. And I just want to show you, I mean, which one do we want to talk about? Let's just talk about Tilray. The new name here after Afria, the merger is now complete. So we go on, we move on with Tilray.
Oh my goodness.
Like 9%? Like, guys, I don't, today, everything, oh, come on, chart. You know, anything with a high growth kind of attached to it is absolutely getting spanked. Like, I don't know. I mean, what do I tell you guys about this? This is here. Here's a watch list that I watch. Most of these names I own. Some of them I'm just watching. Like, look at today. Rocket. Can you guys see this? Yeah, okay. Rocket, 17%. Tilray, Twilio. I mean, I'm long Twilio, $40, but doesn't matter. Twilio, Donkey Kong, DraftKings. Look at Roku. I don't own that. I love Chewy. Like, look at Chewy, 5% today. If that's not a buy. I didn't even notice this one, Neil. Beyond Meat, 115 today. Beyond Meat.
Are you serious?
Square. Like, I recently bought Square at 212. And then that ripped up to like 270, and I was like, oh, that's good. Didn't get out, back down to 222. Spotify, like Snapchat, Shopify down here, CGC. And then I say, okay, no, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe there's a lot of stocks that are up. So let's sort the portfolio the other way. Yeah, good luck. ATVI, Peloton, Peloton I used to own, I don't anymore. IBM, you know I own that one. Walmart, Starbucks, like this is embarrassing what some of these stocks are doing today. It's just been a horrible run all this week, into last week. We knew this would happen with earnings, but honestly didn't think it would be this bad. Yeah, the NASDAQ, all these high-flying names, Brendan, just continue to get killed. Give me some kind of good news.
I was just going to mention two of those that you're just talking about, both Roku and Beyond Meat, coming up after market tonight. So yeah, they're selling them even into earnings, guys.
Oh,
you
God.
got to look at something like Honeywell, which is flat on the day. I look at Caterpillar, which is, if it'll load up for me here, flat on the day. So I kind of went to the other side of the portfolio thinking, okay, well, some of these have to be doing pretty good.
You would think
and then they're essentially, with the market going down, I guess flat isn't bad, but with the amount of selling off, it really does feel like a lot of this money that's gone and been made in crypto is not getting sold. But if you don't want to sell, you're not essentially picking up some of these deals. Now I'm looking at the banks, and they were up when you mentioned here. I'm looking at Morgan Stanley, Brendan. It got all the way back down to yesterday's close and is bouncing. Now, I look at this. This is at the close, Morgan Stanley in particular, 84.30, which is the bottom here. Should have been looking at the banks. That's an obvious place to have maybe gone long like an idiot I wasn't. You look at that top at 84.80. I'm going to look at this range and try to play off the bottom of it. If I bottom pick, I'm going to go with Morgan Stanley. I'm going to go with the banks in today's action. And like I said, you stand in front of the freight train that is Peloton. I mean, can I even call Peloton a freight train to the upside? I guess I can. Because off 79, I didn't short it, and I wanted to wait out for that 85 area. We were able to make a little bit of money on it, and then just no follow through. And I talked about how strong it started to get. I tightened my stop up. Will it go? Maybe. At this point, I'll flip to a bull if it gets back down and gives me, well, I'm flipping to the bull side, but I want it to get back down to that 83 that we liked, or at least test VWAP for a bit of a long position. If you do see a long, it's likely Peloton 83, somewhere around there, or like I just said in Morgan Stanley, I'll try to pick up one of the banks off of the low of the day.
Yeah, people yelling to me, Banks, Sean Banks. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm already, like, I'm well invested in banks, guys. Shout out to our friend Daryl as well, and a few of you other guys that were with us back in the day. Like, JP Morgan it's the only bank that I own in the US, and I'm long like sub-hundy on this one, right? And we just got this back in September, October, right? So that was a good play for me, and it's really nice. Thanks. Now I'm a little bit happier now because yeah, this one taking new highs right now. JP Morgan, great offer there, good trade in this rate environment. I still don't think it's great for them, but hey, it's holding upside, and what a good buy that was, I guess, when we broke through the 50 period. And if you don't use the 50 period moving average, I think you need to there on a daily chart. Like, look at this, comes back down, tests it. Here, tests it, breaks, then goes. And if you're saying, well, you know, it's easy to look back on charts, and I agree. Like, I don't love looking at charts, obviously. You guys know that. But, you know, for a longer term play, to me, it's like if it breaks the 50 period, then you got to sort of like go back down to the next level of consolidation. Like if it broke back down below 140, then I would say, okay, maybe that this is broken. So even right here, like if you break 153, I still think in order for me to get out, we'd have to break this 147. So that's the beauty of the 50 period. I have a lot more to talk about it, but there's a lot happening in the market. What's up, Brendo?
I was just going to mention that Big Five, again, BGFE, again, all-time highs, guys. It's 10:30. Let's get a check on how things are faring over in Europe. There's an hour left in the session over there. Hopefully, Miss V, a little bit better than North America so far.
Well, Brendan, unfortunately, European markets are mostly negative. Earnings remain in focus. Volkswagen is down more than 2% as it raised its margin target after seeing a surge in demand for high-priced vehicles in the first quarter. Back to you.
So no, not. Well, an hour to go, as I mentioned, over in Europe, guys.
So it's not 250, but Coinbase just held a 255 low and then retook 257. So it bounces a couple of dollars here. So this is gonna be the first defense I'll put on. And you know, I like 250 better, and it probably just means that if we lose on this trade, I'm gonna have it one more time through. But you know, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't find this one to the low side and make a bit of a buy on some consolidation that you do see down here. Obviously, if it gets to like a 260 area, I would scalp some off. And then my out is, for this trade, my out is going to be that 255. And I will look back down to that reference price of 250. At some point, you got to get a bit of a bounce, I would think. In the Coinbase, right here, right now, we'll do our test. I haven't gotten that Peloton yet. And I'm watching Moderna try to hold 150. I guess there was an extra dollar in that short. But it could be finding a little bit of support there as here comes that Coinbase testing 255. First defense is in.
Yuck, man. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Right?
I need to deposit more into my swing account to buy some more Coinbase because I just looked, I'm down 14% on that trade right now. So but we've been averaging in and I haven't done it lately. So that's why I need to get into that name. Okay, Ford.
Wow, no bottom.
What?
that was fast.
Oh,
I'm saying
okay.
like it just like I got in and like 30 seconds later it immediately takes that low. So I'll wait for 250. It is what it is. We're 0 for 1 on Coinbase. That stock is just dying a slow death. I think I might have you beat in the wrong way by a 1.5% on Coinbase. By the way.
Yeah, I gonna, like I said, I got to deposit more money. So you know, let's wait to see on that one. I'm not tapped out by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have certain rules. Obviously, you can't just keep averaging in like every $10 on a $300 name, right? So you got to wait for some bottoms. Okay, what I was getting at before that, and that's fine. Like I love flipping over when action's actually happening. Right now on Ford, it's paint drying, but I did want to just talk about it because, you know, that was like this, how many times, this is like I have to understand that like I'm always ticking the bottoms, it seems like, but if I like it and it bounces back up, I sacrifice a couple more pennies and get long again. So, you know, we got ticked out at 48 there. That was a large position, but then we put on the equal position back on the upside right now. So that's a 49 take, and then we have a 51 take. So our average price right now is 50. And then it's just, I didn't want to show it to you. Now it's breaking upside. So I do have an offer at 57, my largest offer at 57 so far on this move. But we just took it out like 3 or 4 times here at 53 because it was just bouncing around. Look, I am still hella fine today. Like I'm hovering around flat on the day. We did take a big hit. Obviously, this Ford hit sucks. If it comes back up, we're going to be laughing. And then right now, like I was waiting. Did this happen again? Like I should almost have Valeria come over here and verify this. Like my big order for Palantir for some stupid reason was at, oh, you want to come and look? Okay, come look at this. What price does this say right here?
20.13.
Right, 20.13. Thank you, Valeria. So there it is there. So Palantir, we had a monster order there at 2013, and it never failed. It came down to 2014. Wasn't paying attention. Should have just smacked it when that came down to that low. But yeah, we missed out on that one. So damn it. We would probably be positive if that got filled right now. We would be. But we're going to wait for it to come back down. Just want to give you guys that update on Palantir. Back into the money there for a second. It went up to 30. That's where our long is. And let's just let this Ford go through 55, hopefully. We're waiting for 57s. Actually, I'll take a piece out here as well. What's up, Red?
I apologize if you guys mentioned this because I don't think I have yet. Twilio, another one. Day lows here, trying to get down to 300, it looks like once again. But another one that has just been crushed over the past week and a half, down almost 10% today after earnings for Twilio, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he won crush. I see some people talking about a firm at 53. There was a move off of like 65 that even gave you like 25% to 80s if you wanted to take it. I didn't, like an idiot. And then you're seeing 53 handle in there. I want to quickly you're going to see me pop in and out of this from time to time on home. And again, above that 36 price, I'm just going to be playing the range. This is it's not spread trading, but it kind of is. I'm getting shorts at the top end of this 36.60. I'm just working it out in front of VWAP here. Now, if it breaks higher to the upside, I'll probably trim and then look to re-engage in a short at 37. I don't see too much of a reason for it to be trading above the price, but the reality is, it is doing it. So you can't fight it for too long. This buy on Peloton means one thing and one thing only. Well, it means two things. One, it got long in front of VWAP. What it also means is I could have held the short. It does not convincingly take out that 85 range. I could have held on to that short despite the buying support that was at 83.75. It's now dried up. I'm mounting a bit of a long here in front of this VWAP. It's held 83 at least one time. I got 27, so call it those quarters. If it can get back into that 83.75 range, probably worth taking some shares off, just given what happened on the downside, where it was trying to get to that price. It couldn't. I would expect there to be a little resistance to any kind of a long in Peloton at the 3/4 mark.
Okay, so we're back to flat on Palantir. I just took out 5% back. I mean, it was nice to have Valeria over here to visit me, but that was sucks. Someone else said though, 2013. So just to let you guys, so here it is. It's John Woo. Did you get that 2013? And if you did, like, wow, fantastic. Give your broker a pat on the back there, because I was sitting on the bid and never got them. So I guess I probably should use a dark pool. And it's my fault. I was using something that we call EdgeX, which actually pays you a rebate. So if I was on something that was a little more aggressive, maybe like a dark pool where I would pay for the fill, then I probably definitely would have got that one. LEDS, we'll talk about that. Twilio, good call there. Are you Russian? Oh yeah, okay, whatever. Forget about that. Yeah, Valeria's Russian. I don't think you're talking to me there. Am I Russian? No, not Russian there. But beautiful country. I've only been to Moscow. We talked about that yesterday. How fun that was, rolling around with random people in their cars. So we did talk about that. Okay, the cannabis space still going downside, like no idea. Oh, one name here that's working out for us. And by working out, I mean like not working out like crazy, but working out, is Rocket. So we just got that out right now at 9:15. So we're actually long here at 19:04. So this is working for the upside trade here. I do like another long. Let me just find out where that order was in my order log here. Yeah, right here, breaking through 1925. So now VWAP has actually come back down. I guess it was at 1925. So yeah, we'll still take that bid long through, but that's a good little long. We're still holding this 1904. Again, not paying attention. Should have got longer down here, letting this one ride up. So right now, a 12-cent winner on Rocket. We did take the long early there, got out, long, out on the 19 break, out some there, out some again. So right now, Rocket, we're still holding out hope that this name does have a run in it. So we'll wait for Rocket, but 1925, we'll put on some more shares for that one. Come on, Ford. You can do it, baby. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I will just get a little more out here and cancel my 57s and just put a little bit less on that one. What just happened? There we go, Rocket. So Rocket takes out that 25, guys. So now we're loaded up on RKT. You can see my average price now, 1922. So let's see where this one goes. Maybe it has that rocket juice in it. What's up, Brendan, with the Sector Watch?
Yeah, a lot of red, unfortunately, today. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. Still only 0.14. I mean, it's not a huge move as far as the overall market is concerned. But as we've been saying, all these individual names with huge moves today, kind of leading things to the downside. We'll start down here. Tech stocks, CTSH in the software makers, CTSH 11% after earnings. ANSS, FLT among the leaders here. ENPH, TRMB as well. Semiconductors, hardware equipment makers. I mean, the entire sector in negative territory, but a few of the leaders here. We'll shift over to CAH, another one that reported today. 9.8% to the downside for the equipment makers. BDX, DXCM, ZTS there as well. Again, the entire sector in the healthcare group in negative territory. It's all about these guys, though. Consumer discretionary stocks leading to the downside. Look at Penn National, down 8.4% at the moment. Here's all the cruise operators, some hotels in here as well. Wynn, LVS, MGM, all the travel names getting crushed today. Etsy, 14% almost still to the downside. KMX 5.5%, but on the other side of things, BBY and Lowe's both in positive territory. So trying to offset a little bit of the damage that's being done. But consumer discretionary is leading. Over on this side of the board, material stocks very, very weak as well. ALB, FMC both reported negative earnings. Fox and Fox A standing out over here in the communications group, back to the upside. I mean, there's lots of individual stocks that are standing out, as we've been saying. Kind of typical for an earnings season, but when they all kind of offset each other, it leaves the market basically flat, guys. Just 0.12 right now to the downside. Back over to you.
Yeah, and I just look at Freeport, the copper name, well, one of the copper players out there, and they're flat on the session, so not everything is doing what you'd expect. That leads LEDS. I guess I'll call it leads. Why not? It opens back to the upside, and it briefly to the upside at $12, and now holding lower. If I had the trust me, if I had the locates, this is actually that setup where second it goes below, I'd be looking at that 1130. We don't have any here. Noting the fact that it did not print down to 9, it cannot seem to follow through to the downside. I'd be looking at like a 10 cluster for an out if I was in the short trade. So I guess if you're holding out hope that it's going to continue to run, that might be a nice little point for a bit of a bounce play, I would suppose. I would look a little bit deeper into $9 before I would personally go into the long side of the trade. That LKCO, for the first time, actually did something, which means I just added to my position to the short. I've been waiting. LKCO. I've been waiting all morning long for it to sort of get a real consolidation in front of VWAP. It's now done so. My average price is going to be 176. That's just because I had some shares left over from 186 up here. I still think it can get down to 150. It has been consolidating off VWAP. It's been a good drop. My last exit was actually at this price. It came a little further. I left some on the table with a 160 bounce, but this has been sliding to the downside. Unless the volume picks up, I'll probably be short this one in front of 175 in VWAP. And then, of course, I got shook out of Coinbase. And then this is what happened, right? Yeah, that's what happens to you sometimes. Not quite the bottom wick, but I'll say it's close enough. Who else is going to show you making the low of the day? That's me, essentially the low of the day on Coinbase. So the long, it bounced. I like 250 better. Maybe if I'd given it an extra bit of room, which probably makes some sense. I mean, I could have had my stop like 25 pennies lower, something along those lines, and you'd still be in it. I kind of feel like that bounce to 260 would have been that first target. I'm not looking to short this name. I only wanted that long play for the bounce side, but it looks pretty enticing if it got to like a 267 to 270 area. That's a ways away here, but it's probably the only thing that would get me into a short.
Yeah, I just want to recap something here. So first of all, Ford out, like great outs, man. 57s. Really happy with this one. We're going to be positive on this stock. If it breaks through 57, we're positive. So good trade there. We are getting out of it. We have less than half of these positions left on Ford, taking it back to VWAP there. We always use VWAP, and you got to use something, guys. So that's a good out for me. We did target 57. We actually talked about 57 when it was down here. So lucky sometimes to get it, and that's what we do. But this is the more important thing. I got out of Rocket half there. It didn't break. Like my best out 32s or 30, something like that. This move up to 35, we didn't have any offers there. That would have been good. But then this is what I kind of look at, and I know that I have all these outs there, but like when you rip up like this, and this you kind of like doji stars, where you had a big move and then you have that stop and then the drop back down. Like, so once these kind of levels break, a couple candles down, you should really be out of this stock. Like, I'm still in some of it, but like I said, I'm out of half now as it retraces all the way back down. So when you get like a stop here, it's almost like here too. Like this is almost the same thing, but it kept going. So there was a chance that this thing kept going, but I don't like when these sort of things happen. You get like, that's not good. So we'll see if we can reload around 19 right now for Rocket and then play it back into this 1880. So we'll try to reload around 19. I think that makes sense where we could come back into Rocket right now. So I'm going to put some bids here like 1907, 1906, something like that. And something very similar happened there. Okay, there we go now. All right, now we've got some shares on Palantir. What happened? How low did that go there? So wow, I take that out at 25. Like, yes, we changed. So there it is. We changed our order, guys. We got 14s there. Yes, sir. Thank God. That's why we're huge in the money right now. Thank you, Ms. V. That was good luck, you coming over here. We changed our order. We went to 14s. Now you see we're long at 17. Hallelujah. Palantir, huge trade for me. Back into the money now. That was the monster trade that we put on. So we actually, I adjusted it a little bit lower. It wasn't a huge trade, but We put that on there, comes back in, we take it. Let's just get out, man. Good win here on Palantir. Although it's only 10 cents in the money, what you're seeing, how many 10-cent wins have I had on Palantir today? None. So we're going to take that right now. Good trade there on Palantir. Hell yeah. Now if this thing goes, guys, going to be a monster. I know I'm talking a lot, just I want to tell some people one thing. This is why I went less on Palantir. It's still a great trade. It's going up. I wish I went more. But this NASDAQ move all the way back, Palantir didn't really move back, right? So that gave me a little nervousness. Oh, hell yeah. Now we're up on Palantir? Yes. The hot dog cannons are alive, guys. Let's go.
I want to give a bit of an update here now.
Wow.
You're going to get this nice little win here on that home, and I understand some people might be holding it to the long side. I'm going to rinse and repeat this over and over again. I just got 47s before I was shorting this 58 price. It's a $36 cash deal. I know it's up 16%. I see no indication why it should be trading higher, and until it makes a push that scares me close to 37 even, I'm going to stick with that sort of rinse and repeat action. It's got a bit of a spread, so I'm able to quickly take like 5-10 cent winners on what eventually is likely to turn into a nothing trade. At some point, I do expect this to really consolidate and get a very, very tight range. It hasn't happened yet, so some opportunities there at home. I just got out as it went to 30 again, so you're getting these 25-cent wins almost for free. LEDS is now rolling over, but first it had to press to $13. If it ever retraces back to $9 to $9.50, look to buy that dip. I kind of feel like you have to give that 9, maybe 50 pennies or so if you get that falling sword. If it does halt to the downside, I would let it halt. I'm not going long into a trade halt in LEDS. Not something that's moving that fast. Brendo?
A little energy company just popping up here. Well, it was a lot higher actually early on. This thing actually halted early on as well, right here off the open. You can see we got as high as 530. EFOI set to report earnings aftermarket tonight. All I see, but big time volume on this one today, guys.
Okay. Okay. We'll have a look at that one. Just to let you guys know, we have some more offers here at Ford, trying to get out 58s and then at 59s as well. And then Palantir, for some reason, is pegged to this 30. It does not want to break this 30. It stopped there at 30. It's stopping again at 30. So, guys, like, I'm taking these out. We talked about that over and over again. I have another 28 offer right now. We just take that. Again, you switched over to use some dark pools, man. The fills are just better. I'm getting better fills on dark pools. You guys, if you don't, we have a link about dark pools. Actually, if you go to our Market Wisdom page, maybe Valeria, I know she's super busy, but if you could find that, there's a dark pool talk, and we have a lesson on that. And it's just right now. And the reason why I bring that up is I told you I'm trying to host, read, trade, crazy. But someone says, thank you, Randy Turner. I didn't see that one. Perfect information. Don't know what that was about. But then I did see this one here, Tiger's Edge. Why is there a lot of dark pools? So I think Neil and I both talked about this just a couple days ago when someone asked the question. I think it was on our Q&A. And it's just, that's the market now, man. A lot of people want anonymity. They don't want to show their hand in the market. Like, if you knew that there was a seller of like 5 million shares or something, which there could be, of Palantir at that 30, then everybody would sell ahead of it. Like, they would sell 25s, 26s, so on and so forth. And then it may not get to that 30. So a lot of these traders now, especially algorithms and things like that, they're pegging to dark pools. It's easier to front run and things like that. I know that name, maybe I'm not allowed to say that, but there are things that still happen in the market, unfortunately for all of us. But dark pools is one of those things.
I want to give one example, because I'll show you guys LEDS, and a lot of traders will be looking at something like this. And there are other traders out there that will talk about the keys that they have access to, and some of those are going to give you like bids and offers, which will scan and then throw orders to multiple venues for liquidity. So you'll get these massive chunk prints where most of it goes off in a dark pool, and that's how bigger traders will get in and out of position. Now, some of it will go to these lit markets, but I mean, this is happening almost too fast, but this is almost all deep prints, and all of the chunk prints, if I were to scan this and go to like anything over 1,000 shares, the vast majority is being hidden in the dark. So when we talk about significant size on something like this, an LEDS, anyone that's willing to actually plop a 50,000 share order that I see on level 2, I tend to take it a little bit seriously, because you don't see it very often. Most of the big chunks of trades are going off in the dark. Like, I just saw 10,000 go through. You might not have caught it, but it was on a deep print, and nothing was there on level 2 in LEDS. So some of the bigger traders, even day traders, are getting in and out with those dark pool prints. That's why they're important, and that's why we chart them. Money talks, 1050. Whoa. Brendan, let's go to the big screen.
Very cool. Just watching the first successful SpaceX launch and landing, guys, just happened. So Very cool for SpaceX. Yeah, currency time. Let's have a look at what's happening today. Somebody said in the chat, I apologize, I didn't see who it was, but the Canadian dollar crushing the US dollar. Yeah, no kidding. This is 82.02 today for the CAD. Multi-week highs. I just highlighted 80 cents, so we're obviously 2 cents above that. But this is a weekly chart for the Canadian dollar versus the US dollar. Just straight higher again today, 0.6%. Remember, key jobs data coming out tomorrow morning at 8:30 for the US and Canada. So 82.04 now for the CAD. The euro up 0.5%, 120 and change. British pound not really doing much so far today. You can see both Japanese yen, Swiss franc lower. Australia and New Zealand kind of trade one and the same, but they're higher today. Turkish lira to the downside. Cryptos are higher on the day. Ripple leading right now as far as these three are concerned, 7%. Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, Ethereum, man, 3,500 again for Ethereum, guys.
Yeah, you can't get out of that. Doesn't go anywhere because no one sells it. And that's the reality here. Mito, we had this Mito. I'll call it Mito. Had one trade off this one was short. It broke that top side. Didn't even look back to it. Kind of missed an opportunity at 250, but it just broke the pre-market low here at 185. I've already scalped a little bit out here on that little break. I've actually had that order in all morning long. Crazy action. I keep getting into that home, and but I want to make sure I come back to this LEDS. I thought there would be a better dip to buy, and obviously it came down to like 1050. I was saying, hey, you could look at that 10. I would have loved 9 even. So strong. I mean, just hanging out at the top here. No real big time sell action. I can't go short, so there's nothing really to see for my action in a trade. Coinbase as well. I mean, this is kind of annoying with these dark pool prints, but either way, it's holding like a 260. Right now, it's holding at about 261 or so. I know this looks like a 260 floor, so it feels like Coinbase has put a bit of a bottom in. If it does make another retracement to the downside, I think maybe trying about the same entry, giving it a few extra pennies or maybe $0.50 or so could be well worth it for me over there. And to go back to Moderna, which I kind of feel like one of the best stocks of the day, yet somehow not really talking about Moderna. It broke through that 150. It did try one hold. If it does test toward the low, I think there might be enough juice with the market coming back in, and it's already shown a bit of a bounce, that it could try to hold a higher low. I'd look at like a 145 for an entry point on Moderna before I would dig in too deep. The LKCO, of course, that's the one still in the money for me, and basically flat on that home trade. I'll look to average into that one. Not going to move too much. It is a cash buyout, but it's above the price.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still enamored with, obviously, here. Oh, so Neil, you got to do some more.
Oh, since he...
Oh, no, not that. I was going to talk about... people keep asking about Affirm. So, I mean, I know you've done a little more work on that name than I do. So I'll give Neil that in a couple minutes or even faster. I just want to talk about this Palantir again. It does drop down, man, like to 2018, 2019 again. I didn't realize I didn't have a bid there, so now I do. We'll see if it can get longer now. But look, the story still remains the same. It comes back up. We took some 24s. We took some 27s. We took some 29s. It's still bouncing off this 30. And I know some people said that dark pool talk that we just did went over people's heads. But, I mean, the thing is it's not breaking this level, right? So there is some resistance up here, and you don't see it on the level 2. So that's all. That's as simple as it can be. That's what we mean by dark pools. And then and it's slow. It's hard to see. Maybe if I go over to something like Siri, that's a little bit slower here. So every market, can you guys, yeah, you guys can see this. Every market, like that's Boss X, that's Bats Y. See these Ds, so those are dark pool prints, right? And so you do get, actionable, like there's EdgeX. See, it doesn't matter. When it breaks, it goes fast. But, look at all those D prints, D, 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 D. So there's a lot of action that gets printed on levels that you don't see. So that's really all that dark prints are. I mean, it's not rocket science. Speaking about rocket science, back over to Rocket. It's not rocket science, but that is what that means. So when you see us talking about dark pools, it just means that there's some action on the level 2 that we're unable to see, and that's done on purpose, people hiding their orders. So that's dark pool. Rocket does have a problem again with this 1925. We're going to take another bid down here, 1910 or so, and see if it gets back to the upside. But we're trying this Rocket trade. Right now we have two stocks that really are running into a wall. Rocket at 1925 and Palantir at 2030. So.
Yeah, I want to come to Affirm here. I got the chart up finally. That took a second. Someone said Affirm at 45. No, it's sitting here at 53.
55, they probably.
55 probably is what you meant, and it's lower than that now. Now I actually bought on this little dip at a firm here when it actually gave you the 65, 66 area, and the dumbest thing ever was not to take some out for that quick little win. It's what I did with Virgin Galactic. It's what you kind of have to do with these plays. At this point, if it breaks 50, I'm out. I believe I like the company, but you can't have too much exposure to some of these, I guess, failing IPOs is the only word. Price action failing IPOs is the only word, and I don't have nearly as much conviction in a firm as I do like a Lemonade. I guess I just kind of like the insurance business and know a little bit more about it than I guess that buy now, pay later idea, which makes sense to me, and there is an addressable market there. It probably was worth more of a swing than anything else, but we're all guilty of turning potentially good swing trades into holds when they look like they have a chance to break out, and it didn't off that 80s. You don't want too much exposure. It's what I was saying about Virgin Galactic, only this is a better business, I will at least say. So if you're really, really convicted, then I would personally hold off to see if it has any kind of a bounce at 50. It's always not the best idea to be selling in a bit of panic, so I would give it some more room to make a bit of a bottom here at 50 even. But if it can't hold that, I mean, for me, I'd be out of it personally. Not like a Coinbase and LEDS is at $13. Every now and then when I can't go short, it's just like, don't force the long because I can't get into the short trade. And then I don't take the dip, whatever. I didn't take the dip buy, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's making those fresh highs. It continues to push to the upside. And this is a crazy one because it looked pretty strong after that reopen. I just kind of felt it was going to give you those 10s or to 950s. Clearly that hasn't happened, and it's off to the races. At some point, if I get some locates, I might actually look for one of these retracement plays, but that's almost playing with fire. I'm not sure if anyone's shorting this thing today, but good luck to you if you are. That's all I got to say.
Okay, so NEO right now, some news there, Brendo, expanding through to Denmark. Is that a big market? I think it was.
European expansion is a big deal for
Sorry,
them.
Norway?
Yeah.
I don't know. What was that, NEO?
I was going to say European expansion is it's necessary for their growth at the end of the day because there's a ton of competition inside of China. I mean, like BYD's kicking their butt in terms of actual sales.
Yeah, I mean, they're already in Europe. So I guess it's not really, obviously it's not affecting the stock there, Brendan. You have it for us?
Yeah, I was just going to show you the headline here. I remember, I think it was about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, we mentioned, I think it was actually Norway, automotive sales in Norway. I believe it was 65% in that particular month that the report was talking about were made up of electric vehicles. So makes sense. But yeah, NEO launching in Norway, guys.
Yeah, so, okay, so there it is. So a nice little story there. What's a nicer story for me, obviously? I've just bought Ford. I tweeted that out the other day, 11:31. We bought it on that crazy dip off earnings. And I like Ford rates. Now it's above VWAP, right? So now I hold. I don't have any offers out anymore on Ford. We'll see if it can retrace back to the high side right there. We made all of our money back on it, so thank God for that one. We'll do a backflip. We were in trouble. I was telling you, like before, that this day was not going well, but man, did we turn that around. And a lot of it thanks to Palantir. We just pick up an 18 bid there on Palantir, and we are waiting a little bit lower, but I'm not digging in the same way that I was going to before. Now that I've seen this 30 be a problem and the NASDAQ's bounce back 150 points, this should be higher. And the fact that it's still down that 4 or 5%, like I showed you guys before, man, everything on my board right now just getting destroyed. Rocket, Tilray, Twilio, Donkey Kong, Roku, all these weed names, CGC, NEO. NEO's on the board here. I don't own NEO, but it's on the board. Beyond Meat, when we just talked about it, was 115, now battling back to 117. Big earnings coming tonight. We talked about that with Beyond Meat. And what was the other one? Roku? Yeah, exactly. So thanks to Brendan. There was a couple big reports coming on tonight. So, I mean, whether or not it's big or not, but those stocks could move is the point. Beyond Meat, I like it, and I want to be a buyer of BYND, but I guess right now we got to wait. Beyond Meat is actually, Neil, an undercover reopen play, and I'll tell you why I think that when we get back.
No, I tend to agree with you there for some reasons. For a few reasons, someone mentioned there, BYD doesn't have autonomous. I'm not saying look, I'm not invested in BYD, and I think long term, one of these other names like an XPEV or an NEO is probably going to do really well over in China. It's hard to pick one. I'm just simply pointing out that in the short term, BYD has a much better base, clearly. But long term, of course, obviously one of these names is going to just good luck picking out which one it's going to be. A lot of people tend to think NEO. I would probably lean in that direction, but I'm not willing to bet on it. I don't own any of those Chinese EV makers. MITO, like I waited, and again, if I was only looking short, I should have had this off 250. I don't, so it doesn't matter. 185 broke. That was the pre-market low. I'm scalping it out as it goes to the downside. It's just very slowly moving back in here. I don't expect anything too crazy. in terms of where it can come back to, you look at some of these clusters, there's not a heck of a lot to work with. I just sort of look at some of these closes around that 150 and say if it gets there, I'll be very, very happy. If you can catch this from like a 185 into like 150, that'd be almost like a pie in the sky. I will take a bunch out for 10 to 15 cents because it is a $1 stock. And then LKCO is going to be basically the same thing. Coinbase is getting close to maybe retesting that low that we had. It broke 255, but it got down to like 254.02. So it held that bottom. If it comes back in here and it can hold like that 55 area, or maybe even base out there, you get some consolidation, I'll try Coinbase likely one more time. And I say one more time, but 250 would also be a defense. So probably 2 more times if it loses. Miss V is at the big board. What do you got?
Hey Neil, I think Tesla worth attention today. Stock is down around 2%. Do you think it's a good level to go into the long position now, or you would wait? What do you think, guys? Could you give us a quick review on Tesla?
Well, if I didn't take 666 today, you might know that the answer is I'm not necessarily getting into it. I'm going to go into the daily chart here and quickly show you these bottoms right here, right now, 657, and then maybe the 15 will also show it just a little bit better here. And then you can see yesterday's low was barely breached at 658, and now we're immediately retesting it. Usually with a bottom pick on Tesla, I'd much rather see it regain some of these. I'd like to see it consolidate back here, hold that low, and then give me that 666 that I always like, where it basically bounced right off, right here like in the early morning, and then bounce up the upside. I'd like to take that retracing a level like that as opposed to jumping in front of the bottom. So I don't like the idea of just sort of like I was on Coinbase, I suppose, standing in front of the low and just hoping it doesn't break or giving it a dollar from that breakdown. I want to see it hold the bottom and then give me a retracement to a level I like. Currently, that would be the current low, and then give me a 666 break. But it looks like it's going to maybe test a fresh low after that. Maybe you can watch it bounce off of 650 and then look for a breakout at this current low. So that'd be my take. I'd let this settle down a little bit, maybe test a little bit lower before I would jump in. Brendo?
I just saw this NMRD. We were talking about it early on today, also yesterday. What an unwind of this move to the upside this morning. This is 15 up here. That we topped out at, even 15.5 on that very high wick. We're all the way back to 9, guys. This thing went from 6.5 to 12 yesterday. So a long way to go still, possibly for NMRD. No upticks at all.
Okay, I'm reloaded. Okay, here we go. Let's dance with this devil one last time here. Palantir, guys. Average price 13. We are definitely, okay, I'm reloaded. I mean, this is it. This is the move that we waited for, man. We've made back, honestly, our Palantir. I feel lucky, actually, that we're able to sit here in front of a live level 2. I know a lot of you don't have that opportunity to get in and out the way we do, but we identified that. And if you just want to rewind the tape to this, 2030, when we were talking about that level in dark pools, right? It started the whole conversation about, why is it not ripping up? What's happening here, right? So I believe what's happened is the sellers have just followed this. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles straight down on the minute chart since that last time that it came to this 2030. So, I mean, they're not even letting this go back up, but we did sit there and we took some 16s and then we took another position at 07. So here it comes, man. It's going to break this. It's going to, I'll tell you this right now, it is going to break this $20, but I'm going to get out a little bit lower than that. So we're going to wait to see what it does do. I wonder if it breaks it and then we start to go back up, right? Once they realize that maybe there are, buyers down here, then maybe it retraces back to the upside. So right now, that's Palantir. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the data there that, it goes all the way down. So we do have that book feed. Let's just see if the NASDAQ does bump up here. I don't know how high Palantir goes. Sometimes when you get a seller at 30, they may move down. Now that it's here at this price, they may move down to 10. They may move down to 20. They may move down to 15. We don't know the magic price, but I'm going to sit there and watch. And if I see a level almost like that, see that 06? You see what just happened there? It went 06 and then came right back. Obviously, that wasn't the level. They're not going to wait around at 06. But if that keeps happening at these higher levels, then we know that we've caught somebody here refreshing. So we just need those levels to break. But we're reloaded, and Palantir right now, not a good one, but we're only long at 13. So the hit is going to be minimal. But hey, the upside, I think, is grand. So let's wait to see here on Palantir. Let's take this for a ride, guys.
And this is the thing, too, and I'm going to hit this graphic because it's an old one. Not because I want to be on a beach. I do want to be on a beach right now. but sometimes you got to draw a line in the sand. But you have to figure out how you want to do it when you're scalping. I mean, Sean's giving you an idea of what the level 2 looks like and how to identify buyers and sellers. We've tried to do that a little bit when we can on Peloton a little bit earlier, and that's the key. You have to have reasons for trades. LEDS has halted to the downside, so it's sort of the reverse idea here. It has yet to really, since that actual first halt, to really bounce off view up. You look at this $10 range. If it opens down here, makes another press, I'd like to take a chance at the falling sword if it's going to do a reopen, test to the downside, hold this cluster without actually halting. The other way you can play this, if it looks like it's about to halt, and the way that, well, if you guys have a level 2, the way you'll be able to see it is you'll have the offer pile up. The bid cannot go any lower. The bid's going to sit here and then just stack, and no one can print below that bid. So any order that's an aggressive sell or a market sell will be priced to the current offer. If it piles up like that, as 15 seconds before it opens up again, if within that time it then prints higher and starts going to the upside, that's called like a reversal on a potential halt trade. If that happens, that's usually a really good actionable long. So it's at 11.40, so it's potentially possible that it could happen at about $10. That's what I'd be looking out for. I can't go short. It's not about forcing the long trade. It's about looking for a long setup that I like. So that's what I'll watch for in leads in about 1 minute when it does open up. And here comes Coinbase back down to 255. I'll try it one more time, but I'm being patient. I'm not going to just jump into it at 56. I want to see it test at 54, 55, and give me a good reason to get back into it.
Okay, so as if we had a crystal ball, Palantir does exactly what we said it would do. It breaks $20, okay? Then it goes down. We didn't get out, like we said. Now we have an out, right? Now we know how far this thing can go down before it breaks. So now I just took some out again at 05 there. Again, I feel like I talked about this. I think it was what? I think it was with Palantir, or was it with Ford? I can't remember. Oh no, it was with Rocket when we had to move back up and then back down and then back up again. So we just took some out at 05 there, lessening the blow in case it does go. Secretly we wanted that 20 to hold. It doesn't, and then now look, now they let it go back up to try to probably convince people that it's going to go back up, like me. And then we do get some out there at 05, be a little bit disciplined there. But now we're holding the bag. We're going to let it go down a little bit more. But yeah, with this market flushing here, Palantir there, that was the play. We've survived it today, so it's fine. But there we go. We just took another bid there. Now we're done with the bids. We'll let it fall down about 10 more cents or so, and then we'll have to get out of Palantir as long as my trigger is right. Yeah, so we'll wait on this one now back to the upside. You can see my average price now, 09.50. Normally, I'd be sweating this out a little bit more, but we've taken out some risk on Palantir. I really thought that this hit would be a lot greater if we did break down through 20. Thank God these fills gave us this out, which gave us some profits back, or else this would be a disaster. But right now, well within our abilities to absorb this kind of a hit in our account. So let's just hold out for Palantir. Hands off the keys. It breaks down back below in these 80s, then we'll get out. For right now, that's all we can do, guys. Hope the NASDAQ can come back up. Palantir, didn't think we'd see it in the teens again. And here it is, guys, 1993. Wow.
Wowzers. And Coinbase, no bid just yet at 254, but LEDS is back open. Now, there's been an offer, and it just chewed it up there at 11. About 100,000 shares. A couple of times it stacked there at 11 before finally breaking. I was looking for a more specific entry point that never happened, so that you're not going to get a big time flush that I thought could take you into 10, maybe resisting that halt and then bouncing to the upside. Very particular what I was looking for the long. Either way, somebody that was looking to sell some shares at 11 got everything they wanted and then some. And I tend to think that maybe that's a bit of a long. It felt like a long cover to me, anyways, the way they would plopped it in there. It still has a chance to do that halt down, but the way it's calmed down in its trade has me thinking that's going to be a little bit lower than that $10 range. So it has to be a very rapid move to the downside to get that kind of a play. Before I throw to Brendan here, just an update. There was a bit of a spike up, and it's really not much, back into 180 on that 184 short I have in MITO. It's now back down into the low 170s, and again, on a stock it's this cheap, I'm going to throw a bid in here and just quickly catch 173s. This is now flushing to the downside. I took nothing from 250. I just waited for it to break the pre-market low for my second short of the day. First one was at like 850. Brendo?
We saw the travel names, some of the cruise lines, airlines, hotels, all in negative territory. This one, guys, NCLH, reported aftermarket yesterday. Earnings not great. You can see crushed again this morning in the pre-market. We tagged 30 up there early on this morning, but day lows just made 6% now for Norwegian, guys.
All right, so I don't need to talk about Palantir. We're almost out of that one, so that's what that is. Norwegian, good look. We should have looked at some CCL. We've been getting out of Ford here as we let that one go through VWAP, and we didn't take, well, we did take it. I mean, we've been taking it out, so there's nothing wrong. Ford goes back to positive, so that was a good one. But Palantir is going to break any minute now. Breaking through those 85s will be a problem. So that's going to be that. We're going to watch out for this one. I may just take some, you know what, I'm going to take some back out here at 91s or so. Take a little bit less risk there. We didn't even get 91s. Take a little bit less risk off, but here it comes, going to break down now through that 85 and we're gone. You can see the NASDAQ just doesn't want to hold anything, so better to sort of lick our wounds now, get out and not hold this thing back. Like there's 1950. I mean, every quarter down I'm always interested in, but not today, not anymore on Palantir. It's now broken, right? This is the level that's broke. It just took this 20 out. Like I said, never thought we'd see that, but the day for Palantir is not today, it's not this month, and it's probably not next month. It's probably not even in the next 6 months. Palantir is a long-term play, so again, it's probably going to be off my radar for longs now, for day trades, but I still like the stock and may pick some more up here. I do like Snowflake at these levels. There's lots happening, man. I'm embarrassed that we didn't even look at CCL today, Neil. It just off some news here. We could see the economy today. You see some virus news. That was like, a good move down here, and we're just basing right now at 25.50. So I'm gonna have a closer look here at CCL.
So, I'm back into some Coinbase. Now, I waited for it to actually test that low, and it bounced off of, it's like 254.20, so it doesn't really matter. And it bounced higher than that 254 bottom, retakes 255. So, in that situation, it's like, okay, I'll pay up a little bit extra just to be able to get into it. And anyways, so in that long trade, if it breaks low, I'll give it a couple extra pennies. Instead of like a 254 even breaks and we can get out of it, I'll give it a little bit of extra room, because the last time, I almost made that bottom wick and you see it hold, and it's like that's a wasted opportunity when you essentially had the bottom and you weren't willing to give it a little bit more room. If it has $5 of upside, it's worth giving more than just that extra like 50 cents or so on the stop. Cincinnati Video Guru, NVAX did the same thing. I don't know why, you know what, it's weird. I don't know if it was on your top board there. We talked about some of the vaccine names. I never looked at NVAX. And you're absolutely right. It was the very same thing as a Moderna. So it is what it is. And look, that's why we talked through our trades, because we had like 3 separate ideas, and I think we both had a look at the 150 which got missed. And then Sean had a great trade on Moderna, and then I had a different trade which also worked out on Moderna. And it's really just about showing you guys what we see. That's what we're talking about level 2. That's why we're showing you the hauls. That's why Brendan's going through the news. It doesn't mean take every single trade we do. It's more about just get a level of understanding. I'll tell you right now, my best learning experience has been from other traders that we have on the floor, which of course is empty now due to COVID. But even just talking through their wins and losses, you learn a heck of a lot from traders that have been trading for 5 years, 10 years, or even longer than myself. Like Sean's 19, I'm 18 years, which that's why I got so much gray that you can't see, shaved head. Oh, Coinbase. Yeah, I'll go back to Coinbase for a quick second, because it's actually moving a little bit. I don't think necessarily that there's a guarantee that this is the bottom. It hasn't tested that 250 reference price, but I should go back to noting that I will get shares out 100% on the way up into VWAP. This stock has been weak enough that you're not scalping wins on it, which to me means every $3, $4, $5, you're kind of, I don't know what you're hoping for, to be honest with you. So it's down 6%. It's a $20 range on the day. If I can just get this back into VWAP for the win, it's not about making the money back that I lost. It's about seeing the setup and just taking it. So if it holds a low, I'll risk a couple of bucks. And my first take profit is always to make about that 1-to-1. And then from there, if it gets to VWAP, I'll be ecstatic. For the day trade anyways, I mean, obviously, in the long term, there's nothing fun about Coinbase. I want the exposure. I believe in it in the long term. You got to be willing to hold some of these. If you believe in it, have that 5-year outlook for it. For the day trade here, maybe only a couple of dollars.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Like I said, I just got to refund said account, and we'll be going longer on Coinbase right now. I mean, I like the name. The thing is, I'm so exposed to crypto as well. Wow, ADA now 166. Good move there. Okay, so just an update here. I switched it up on Palantir. The seller is at 90 now. I mean, I don't know. It was pretty obvious to me. It doesn't look like that here because we have these BS wicks on the upside here, but it came up a whole bunch of times. Maybe I can show you on a different chart here. Hold on a second. That won't chart all these D prints, hopefully, for you. Yeah, this is a little bit better. So here's another, this is E signal. Look, if it breaks 90, we're going to get out and go long, but I just think this is worth the risk here. It's doing the same thing it was doing. Like, look at 30, right? There's that seller, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. And then right now, there's the same seller here, I believe, at 90. It does, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, good. It doesn't seem to want to break. So I'm just doing that. I'm short now at 87, which, okay, and if it breaks 90, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to go long 92. So I have the short on here in case the seller is there and wants to keep pushing this down, but I'm waiting for it to break through 80, because if he's shorting 90s, then I do think that the seller will probably, he or she, probably a robot, comes down to 80 next. So that's going to be my call. We're just going to wait for 90 to break. Hey, if it breaks and we go long, that's fine. I want the long if it breaks. Maybe the seller's done. So I'm just kind of having fun with Palantir now, which I know, I still have decent shares, but this is just a game right now. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Palantir. I'm not making like any dramatic calls or anything. It's just that this stock is down 6%. We've seen a lot of names down a hell of a lot more than 6% today. So Palantir can still go down that 9, 10%. Here it goes. Let's see. Like, this is a couple times now it's broken this level and come right back up. So I don't know what the levels are now, but I'm pretty sure that seller at 90 is there. So let's wait to see if it breaks that. We go long. If not, let's try to hold the short, guys. Brendo.
Another one that's moving today on earnings. We're continuing through the list, the never-ending list. BioCrest Pharmaceuticals here reported, guys, in the pre-market. You can see a nice move from negative to positive there in the pre-market. We're at day highs, up almost 20%, but huge areas here on the daily chart for BCRX on volume.
So I was about to be happy that we're about to get that first $2 on Coinbase, and then there it is. I mean,
it's a trap.
Yeah, well, the first time long was. This time is actually going to be a winner. I'm just disappointed. I actually said this to Sean. You might have caught this one. I'm disappointed to have not had anything short and Fastly today. And look, I don't know that there was a name that was beaten up more. It's coming, it's gone. It's been a missed opportunity off of that 50. I said I wanted to short into strength. I tried it in Peloton. I did it in Moderna. We outlined it over there in Fastly, and I think we both were looking at the same thing. And somehow, neither of us had the execution. That's come and gone. I mean, this chart is absolutely insanity. I want to go back a little bit further, guys. If you look at that, and we talked about this in the pre-market, I never really thought that you were going to get to this 43, which before the big move in June that Fastly had into that 140, I guess it almost got to. This was that low of the range before it broke out. It's right here at 43 even. The low of the day is 43 even. I kind of feel like, here's what I want to do. Because I made the mistake in Coinbase, I wanted to break 43. It's got to be triggering a bunch of stops when 43 breaks. And then either take a small position, which actually makes some sense, take a small position in front of 43, hold it through that break, give it to like 42 and a half at least. And then if it goes there, doesn't get to 42 even, regains 43, maybe that's going to be your hard bottom on Fastly. But this is too low to not take at least some kind of a shot on the day trade. I know I'm doing it. If I hadn't just profited on Coinbase and made up for the bungle before, I wouldn't put that one on, but it is what it is. I'll let it break 43. I just got the quarters into the long side. I'll let it break that 43 even, maybe give it about like 50 cents or so. If it does not break that extra 50 pennies down, or maybe call it like 75 to a buck, I'm going to get more shares long when it retakes, or if it retakes 43. If this is the low right here, yay, because there's so much. Like, it doesn't even have to get the VWAP to give you a couple of dollars, but Fastly down 25% on the session. Crazy.
I missed like today, and like now the market rips when I'm trying to play this Palantir short, like unbelievable. Fastly, one of the number 2 there, short up to 49. You know, my order was at 48.69 or something. I missed the short early on this name, FSLY, by 16 cents. Okay, so now Palantir wants to go up. Okay, so again, there you go, we'll get out now. Okay, so we have flipped long, but I'm not long everything yet. I want this to break back above 95, and then we'll take this long, and it's held this 80. So someone said, like, fun is not a word we associate with Palantir. No, it is not. We do understand. So it's the only stock I'm down on today, basically, Palantir. Like OCGN, we're now 23 cents in the money on this play. Upside on OCGN there. We'll wait to see. Rocket Ship, waiting. I mean, we're negative on Rocket, but that's not moving, so we still have some hope out for that. And then let's just see what Palantir now does here. I want to go a little bit higher, like breaking 95, and then we'll put on a long and hold that back to this 80 break. Other than that, man, that's the trade on. I hope to, I mean, you're going to join us back at 3:15. Make sure you do that. I'm going to update this trade. So you're going to watch Palantir. I'm going to be long. If it doesn't happen now, which it should in the next 10 minutes, we'll be long 95, and we're going to hold it until an 80 break back to the downside. So that's my last straw there on Palantir. Yeah, you're right, MH. Like, why do I keep beating myself up? But the thing is like, I have winners on. I have OCGN, I have Palantir, and I have Ford on, and they're all fine. So right now, I want to focus on Palantir. It is what it is. That's fine. What's up, Bren?
Just a heads up, guys, for anyone watching these vaccine makers, volume coming in here on the buy side this time. So Germany's Merkel saying that she, or Germany, I guess, is not going to support this WTO waiver. So some buyers coming back in now on the vaccine makers, guys.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's not on board with that, that's going to, like, there was always going to be hurdles to this, that waiver notion, and you're seeing it here. Now, you're getting a bounce in Pfizer. I just saw about 40 cents or so. Not a gigantic one, but it still hasn't broken this pre-market high at 39. I tend to think if it has resistance in there, I'd be a buyer back down in front of VWAP or like any kind of retracement. So call it like 38.50. If it wants to go lower than that off of that news, I would be at least a little bit shocked. I played the short on the news in the afternoon show. I'll try to see if I can't catch a bit of a bounce, having already missed out. And a shout out to you guys that already had it in the chat there. I want to make sure we got that news to you live. I'll play a bit of a dip buy if I can get it, having missed that move. There's still the breakout off of 39, which can be played. I just missed it. We talked about just sometimes it'll happen to you. Coinbase tried to push into that 250, like it was trying to break this. It broke that 257. That's why we got up for a couple of bucks. Now it's trying to break that 58. I want to be sitting in front of that 260 and VWAP to catch that like $4 winner. It still has room to go. I have not taken more shares in it just yet. Fastly is still holding basically flat. It's at 43.25. I'm long at 43.27, 26 and change. Actually got a midpoint. A dark pool print. I got the midpoint with my NASDAQ.
There we go.
Scan
there
key.
we go.
Shout out to NASDAQ Canada, those guys. Fantastic routing key there. I got a midpoint fill. If Coinbase comes back, I'm not looking to average into this trade. There were times where if I rinse and repeat, get some out there for the scalp trade, I'll get back in at the low. No, if it can't even get to 260, I'm not going to be fighting this one. Either I have the bottom here or I don't. And if I don't, I'm just going to get out on that bit of a break there. So take the money and run is the way I'm going to treat this trade.
Yeah, sometimes that is the best way to trade Palantir. Thank God we didn't get long up here. We're waiting for a little bit more of a break there. So now it comes back down to the downside. Like what a craziness this stock has. We just thrown about a little bit of money away here on this dance. So you guys are right. Like, you know, get away from a stock that's not working for you. I think that's good advice that I should be giving to others, and yet I'm getting it. So that's a good thing. Thank you so much for the support again on the show, guys. We really appreciate everything because, you know, Neil and I sometimes do get carried away, obviously, with some of our positions and what we're looking at, and that is sometimes a good thing. So, okay, Brendan, you brought up this OCGN. I'm going to actually just refresh this trade. I am long here at 928 on OCGN. That's from earlier, so it's still from earlier. And then we just took another price rate there as well. So, like short, out, up. You know, out again. Now we're long backside here, 928 on OCGN. We basically took that bottom there. We did have to hold it back down to 9. You know, a little bit of a risk, obviously, but we hold that 20 cents against us, and now it's 20 cents in the money. So 28 cents in the money now on OCGN. So that's going to be a good one. But other than that, man, we just chill out. We're waiting for Palantir to go up. My Ford. Nice. We waited for that one, so that one comes right back up, and we just got tagged at 60. So we're long here at Ford at 49. So we'll hit the sirens for Ford. So hey, look, if I avoid Palantir, then we are mucho grande up today. But we did not do that, and we're learning our lesson. And of course, I start to like to short on Palantir, and then this happens in the NASDAQ. So we will take this Palantir break. It has to break above this 96. Then we'll get long, and we'll hold it until that break low side of 80. So, Palantir is going to be a fun one the rest of this day, guys. Buckle up.
Yeah, and we're going to be buckling up for some earnings.
We're
as
long
well.
now.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Like just to recap, a couple of positions long. Fastly and Coinbase both in the money to the long side. And look, I am trading that home, and it's been a good one. I'm still up more on Moderna temporarily, but is a good chance by the end of the day because this is what I like to do on the side. This is a cash bout. I know it's trading above that price. This is now getting into that range where it's basically a pure scalp of 15 to 20 pennies. I'm just rinsing and repeating over and over again. Something you can do during lunchtime if you have direct market access. So if you see it flipping in and out, that's all it is. I mean, it's trading above, but it's still a bit of a moneymaker here. I am not going to average into a Coinbase, but I told you guys to plan on Fastly. I will let it break 43 and look for re-entry. If it can't get more than like 50 to 75 cents lower than that, I'll try to get back in above 53 if that one wants to break. And then hold that bottom eventually. Brendo?
All right, a few minutes to go here. So there's a lot to chew on when it comes to earnings, both tonight and before the open tomorrow. It's going to be an early morning, I feel, because a lot of these are actually before the market opens tomorrow. I just saw Nikola is even on here. Not like they have earnings, but convenient with news today, guys.
Yeah, convenient. Look at that board. Wow, thank God we have Valeria here, who is so solid at doing this because she's done a great job by trying to fit everything on there. There's tons of names on here. Just take your pick. I've already talked about it. It's funny that you put, great job there. Square, AMC is in the building tomorrow. Take your pick, Neil.
Nikola, DraftKings, Oxygen, it's unbelievable. Roku, Beyond Meat. Let's talk about that for a little bit because that's going to be obviously a big one. Groupon is on there. This is going to be a big day. I'm sort of calling it out in advance. If I lose shorting Nikola twice in the morning, don't let me try it a third time. That's all I got to say about that. But I'm very, very likely to be trading some Nikola. I do find I usually do. Before we get out of here, a couple of things we got to get to, and one of them, it's got to be what national day it is. Let's go to Miss V. She's in her Arun-approved vest today.
Team Arun. Hey guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you're all well. And please don't leave without hitting thumbs up. Every day we're working really hard to support the community. And all we ask for, just to like this video, guys. Your like will support us so much. And it's our main motivation to work even harder. Well, we will see you at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And happy National Beverage Day, everyone.
There's actual beverage day. Okay, Neil, give us your favorite spring or summer drink.
You got to go with a little bit of ginger beer, but it's got to be authentic, homemade, not necessarily the bottled stuff. But I love ginger beer. Got the West Indian blood in me. Throw a little nice rum in there, and it's fantastic. Though you can do whiskey. You can also put in vodka if you really, really want to. But I'm more of a rum guy.
Beer? I never heard of that one. Kung Fu Trading. My bad. Berry lemonade. I thought that said beer and lemonade. I was like, okay.
Beer and lemonade?
Pimm's is nice. A nice little drink there. Jack and Coke. Okay. I'm feeling you. Yeah. Water? Yeah. Shout out to Hydration Nation. Nice summertime drink. I think like a vodka tonic, gin and tonic, something like that with a little lime on there. Brendan's, don't tell me Guinness. What's up, Brendan?
What's he going to say?
Corona, lime,
yeah, okay.
Patio. Come on.
We'll take a light beer on a patio.
Can't go on.
You definitely can, especially hopefully we can go golfing one day.
That would be nice.
And we'll be able to, that would be nice. And we'll be able to hit that up as well. I just want to give everyone an update. Rocket did go through there. I'm going to get Valeria's favorite drink. So when you're ready, Valeria, think about that, and we'll see maybe the Moscow Mule there. What's up?
So for summer, I would say peach green tea lemonade from Starbucks. You can add a little bit of vodka there, and it'll be perfect.
Okay, so you're very, very fruity flavors there.
If Starbucks isn't trying to hire you as a spokesperson, I don't know what they're waiting for. There's nobody more dedicated. Are you kidding me? Even for National Beverage Day, she could have said a lot of things, but there you go, Starbucks. You got a believer in Miss V.
But good luck taking her away from us.
Yeah, that's not hey.
Coming after you, Starbucks.
I'm saying you should have tried. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's not gonna happen. It's about bloody time, Coinbase. It's at 259. I just got the fill, so I'm happy. I'll go with because it's the first key I could hit before we end the show. I'm going to go with the GOAT himself, the Lamb. But to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't have had this Coinbase trade if someone hadn't just posted into the chat, Coinbase is at 260. And I was like, popped over to it. It's a couple of tries. The second one's going to be a winner. That's why it's the best community. If there's a reason why we say hit the like and the share, grow the community, it's because we all benefit from learning from each other. That's what trading's all about. That's the reason we have a trading floor and we leverage it when we're talking about our ability to learn from other traders. This is what it's all about, guys. We love that community. We love you guys so much. Thank you for that Coinbase trade.
Yeah, Ed, before we go, I just put in the chat there is size there at 20 that doesn't want to break. So it's tried. There's an ARCA there. You can see all the dark pools. Like I'm saying, look at all those Ds coming through right now. They're all Ds. They're all dark pool trades. They can't bust it. And we took some out. Okay. I took some out at 99, but when I'm talking about some, I'm talking about like 5%. We still want this thing to run. I mean, maybe I'm being silly. Let's just take out one more piece here. There you go. We're taking another piece at O's. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, using dark pools, but not the share size to hold this thing, obviously. There it goes. Damn it. Okay, 20's coming, Neil, on Palantir. We're going to hold that. Hopefully, I'll talk about this in the after show at 3:15, guys.
Absolutely. And there we go. There's that
Everybody.
fourth shot. Do not forget, we are back at 3:15 for the fastest 45 minutes. That's your line, Sean. I guess I'll have to use it here for the entire team. There we are down the line, Miss V, my man Brendan, because I usually say Sean next, and Sean Katina. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you guys at the close. But stay tuned for a little Day Trade the World knowledge.